Hey folks, my name's Enriquez and you are watching Uncensored.
This is Enriquez. Nickname Boots. Black Hand of the Mexican Mafia. Prison gang politics.
Hey folks, Enriquez. Welcome back to another episode of Uncensored. We're going to continue with the series Past the Wire. And in this one, we have another mob meeting. This is in a hotel. This is in the case People of the United States versus Alex Aguirre et al. And People of the United States versus Raymond Shryack et al. There was a 13 member indictment. It was the first RICO case that occurred in 1995. In this video, you're going to see Ernie Castro, who was a Mexican Mafia member known by Chuco from B&E. His picture is depicted here. In a hotel room with multiple Mexican Mafia members. He would arrange for these hotel meetings to take place. This is part of the discovery process and part of public record. In the event that anybody's curious to the material, have good luck trying to get it, though. It's very difficult to acquire. A bunch of these exhibits are very difficult to acquire, but if you do, they are public record. As soon as they become clear in the picture, I'll identify them. I'll put a graphic up of their picture.
$90? $80.
Okay, the individual you'll see walking with the hoodie and towards the door and the mustache, standing directly next to the TV, to the right of the TV. That's Ernie Castro. He's a cooperating federal informant for the FBI. You'll note that there's camera placement in the room. The camera has the ability to oscillate, which is turn. And watch the job that Ernie Castro does at keeping the lens free of obstruction. Because the individual to the right of the camera, you see the little telephone right there, right in front of the camera, and you see two sets of hands. The one on the left is Gibby from Norwalk, Felipe Escobar, and the one on the right is Ralph Rocha, Perico from Norwalk. Both of them cooperated with the United States Attorney's Office. Both of them dropped out. So the three individuals I've identified so far have all cooperated with the feds. They are no longer Mexican Mafia members, but they were active at the time. In fact, Gibby was cooperating at the time that Chuco was, unbeknownst to Chuco. That's Perico driving the chips. That's Gibby standing up.
Hey. Oh, yeah.
Bring up hamburgers and shit or what?
Notice that Gibby was wearing the beanie, and Perico's the individual that stood up and grabbed the chips. Chuco's immediately going towards them, knowing where the camera is placed. He's going to move the chips away from obstructing the view of the camera.
They feed? Yeah, they got
The
menu.
individual that walked in with that funny-looking hat and the trench coat, that is Musclehead Mike Salinas. The very same individual I showed you in the Sana Ojeda clip, where Sana lifts up his hat and disrespects him. A lot of people have said that Musclehead was never a carnal. He was never a Mexican Mafia member, that he's no good, that this and that and the other. Well, I'm telling you today that Musclehead Mike was a made Mexican Mafia member. Here he is in a members-only meeting, attending, and that's him walking through the door. So I don't care what expert you are or what you think you know about the organization. And I don't say this with arrogance. I say it with certitude. Musclehead Mike was a carnal. This proves it. All the other evidence that exists prove it. That he was a validated, made Mexican Mafia member in good standing at one time. He fell out of favor, and he got politicked on. And that's when they started saying he wasn't a carnal. So for all those naysayers, Musclehead was a carnal.
Hey, what's up?
He just got his hand shook by Perico from Norwalk. The individual behind Musclehead in the trench coat, you'll see him, he's well-dressed, is Champ Mendoza. Oh, actually,
All right,
that's China Boy Arias.
All right, mate.
Champ Mendez is wearing a tie and an overcoat, that dark trench coat. His hair's slicked back. He has a mustache. He's the best dressed guy in the room. I've always admired the way the guy dressed. He had class. He had style. That's Champ right there. He's shaking Gibby's hand. He's shaking Gibby's hand now. The individual in the center of that group of individuals with the winter coat and the medallion on his chest, that's China Boy Arias. He was murdered in federal prison some years back. China Boy is now hugging the guy in the beanie cap, which is Gibby Felipe Escobar. China Boy is standing facing towards the camera with his hand on Gibby's back. Champ is shaking the hand of Perico Rocha to the right of the camera.
You heard him? Yeah, you're good. Hey, did my drawing and all that go up? Hey, you got him. Did you? What do we write you? Oh, he's the right. Tomás Moreno, that owns brother.
Is he? No. I just got a from Bay of Jerry. They have it.
You hear Champ Mendez, Champ Mendez say that he just got out of Pelican Bay a year ago. They're talking about somebody who has just made a carnal. I didn't quite hear it, but that's what they're discussing. The individual walking with the T-shirt and the baseball cap right next to the TV, that's Tonito Rodriguez from Sereno. He was killed by Sureño gang members, resulting in a green light on one faction of that gang.
What are you doing?
Here goes Chuco. Look at the efficiency with which he operates. Smooth as silk. He gets up. He's going to move that chip bag away from the camera so the FBI can get good evidence. They want to identify everybody in that room. Audio is up. In fact, in this video, we're going to show you some of the surveillance pictures. There's one of Pee-wee. Right now, we're depicting that. Pee-wee from Avenues standing on the balcony of the hotel, which is taken with a telephoto lens from some distance by the FBI. And there's another one we're depicting now of Wadoshai Shryak emerging from the hotel room. And this is this extent to which the FBI went to capture this event. This is a historic event. This is the only Mexican Mafia Mexican Mafia meetings that have been captured to this depth, including one where Pelon Maciel was made, the only time in history of the Mexican Mafia that an induction has ever been made and recorded. It's done. But they even went further. They claimed all the surveillance tapes from the security cameras, including the front desk, the corridors, and we're going to interject some of that video here so you can see that, the extent to which the FBI went to collect evidence. There's an old saying is that when the U.S. attorney indicts, you're already done. They have enough evidence to convict you. And what they want you to do is plead out because you're already convicted. Very few times do people beat a federal indictment, particularly of this nature, a RICO indictment. This indictment, this investigation in and of itself was years in the making. And it's the first time that the United States government utilized the federal RICO, Racketeering Influence Corrupt Organizations Act, against the prison gang, particularly the Mexican Mafia. It's since the norm. It's become the norm. Crews are getting indicted all the time. But I'm going to continue with the video now.
I usually remember.
I know how to get in contact with this dude.
I usually just
Beat him about 30
today I got
times.
an answer machine. Somebody named John. Somebody. The secretary has a to a Raymond Mendez, and she said,
Notice how he even moved the dip away from the camera. He wants nothing obscuring or obstructing the view of the FBI. FBI are stationed outside in an adjacent room.
"Can I have some callers?" And I said, "Raymond." My name's Raymond. And she goes, and she says, okay,
Right
so
there, I just snapped
she
in the
hooked me
spot.
onto another lamp and started ringing and answering machine.
Oh, you talked to a lot of, John
Right.
Deadpool.
I don't remember this.
He wasn't
I didn't talk, I
ready?
got an answer machine.
No, I left it.
I
left that filter.
Yeah, well, I was getting ready to, and then the phone rang and it was one of the kids. And I just, I was just gonna tell you about the meeting because
Hey, but he was
people
supposed
said
to
the
parole.
Mexican Mafia. So I was gonna get hold of you.
You know him. You know him. You know him, Chuko. You know him. What happened? Hey, what happened? You know him now. You met him on bus.
Supo, are we waiting on anybody else? Are we waiting?
He's talking behind that, huh?
Well, you know,
What happened?
dude, Hyman,
He
I gave him a pass.
From where?
We're going to book Smiley, that dude that from Arizona, Bassett.
Yeah.
He came back.
How long was he out?
I told him, check this out, I'm gonna need your assistance.
He didn't do
I'll
that.
get down right now, give you the fierro, if I have to,
You serious?
and you flush it no matter what. He says, all
I mean, I
right. He
wouldn't
goes and tells Smiley.
I made do some burpees. Hey,
I gotta
big
go over there and stand my
Individual walking with the beanie and the light-colored hoodie and the gray sweats, walking towards China Boy Artisia, sitting on the corner of the right bed. That's Pee Wee Aguirre. He just came into frame. Also, Alex Aguirre, he's the top defendant in the indictment. He's going to hug China Boy now.
Hey,
I gotta
big
go over there and stand my true.
I would have scolded him and do some burp. I wouldn't have killed him for that.
There are about 2 or 3 conversations going on, and one, Chuco's telling Güero Shaya that he gave a guy a knife and was going to get down with him, and then and another, Gibby's talking about another individual that he didn't want to kill, that he didn't want to eliminate.
They didn't plan
Oh, man.
They were-
he was gonna get killed like that.
Oh,
Yeah, we waiting on anybody else?
Yeah, Randy and Turtle.
So the meeting is supposed to be of all Mexican Mafia members on the streets. They're all supposed to attend. It's mandatory attendance. So we're waiting on, in the meeting, they're waiting on Randy Therian, which is Cowboy from Bassett, and Turtle from Ontario, which is Donald Baez. Again, I believe Sammy Villalba is also going to make an appearance in this video as well.
oh no.
Yeah, no.
On serio? I never met him.
Yeah, you'll be here in a little.
Yeah, I did. No, I didn't. What's up, China boy?
Yeah, I just
What's that on the guys?
Rob, check anybody's connection.
Get over there getting that from Playboys and 18th Street. That's all I wanted to talk to you guys about. The guys from Playboys and 18th Street, they want to do something, but they say EMS is talking shit because they said that you guys.
That individual walking and chilling from his mouth is Negro Villalba. Negro Villalba was murdered in 2019 in Long Beach, California. He was stabbed previous to that. It was actually stabbed and strangled in Victorville, United States Penitentiary of Victorville, which was the precursor to his death. But he was eliminated as well. China Boy was murdered, as I mentioned. A lot of these people no longer exist. They've been eliminated, and I believe that this is all the participants that are going to show up in the meeting for this meeting, because the 200 other individuals are not going to show.
Said they could do whatever.
No, I gave it to you, man.
18th Street.
Yeah, the green one.
Black, right? Cool.
You took mine.
De apelo.
Start shooting with machine guns, get off the car, shoot at the casket.
When was that?
When was that? About 2 months ago, Tony?
4 weeks.
This is
Shot
yours,
at
right?
the casket. When they shot at the casket 2 months ago.
Who's casket?
Okay, well, this is, I'm just talking about a couple of days ago, the other day.
So we sucked them on 18th Street.
Yeah, but this is just the other day.
No, it's around here.
It don't matter.
Well, this is west, I don't
It's a green
understand.
bit, dark green. huh?
This is the west side, this was Dagwood area, and there wasn't nothing happening when I stepped in. This is some shit that just started.
So all this is preamble, right? The real issue that they're going to discuss is the territorial dispute between China Boy from Artesia and Negro Villalba from Artesia. The senior member, or the elder statesman in the room, is Güero Shaya from Artesia. China Boy is close associates with Tonito from Sereno, and Pee Wee Aguirre and somebody loaned from Big Hazard, right? That's his main key and key support. Negro Villalba's key support is Perico from Norwalk, Gibby from Norwalk, and Raymond Shryock, the elder statesman. And you'll see in the second part of this video that Widow Shy will step in, weigh in on behalf of Sammy Villalba, because that's his padrino. Widow Shy is the individual who sponsored Sammy Villalba. With that said, folks, we have the precursor. We know what's coming next. There's going to be a battle for territory. Keep in mind that this is probably about 30-something years old, this video. It's old FBI technology. It's what they had at the time, but it was state-of-the-art then. We look at it now and say, oh my God, this is horrible. These are horrible graphics. It was enough to convict them. We're going to continue unpacking that hotel room video. And I told you guys last time, I said we're going to start off with the conflict of Negro and China Boy, but there are multiple conflict resolutions here over territorial dispute and organizational business. I mean, this is jam-packed full of information, so let's just take it from where we left off, and we'll go along chronologically and sequentially rather than jumping from issue to issue, right? We'll just address it as it pops up. This is along the lines of Past the Wire, so we're going to put it in the Past the Wire collection. Because it is a recorded conversation by law enforcement. Again, this was the 1995 RICO indictment of Alex Aguirre et al., where 13 Mexican Mafia members were indicted in 1995, the first RICO case against the Mexican Mafia in the history of the organization. And these are surveillance videos you're watching. So let's get right to it, folks. You've been waiting long enough. Here you go.
It just started the other day, you know, and at some street they say that you gave some, they're doing some playboy street or something like that. Well, that's what they're telling me. So I said, well, look, I'll just talk to them and find out. I said, but MX don't have no business going on. They just killed one of the dudes from 18th Street about 4 days ago.
Yeah, I know. I'm pretty sure it could have been smoothed over and went to the yard and cleaned it up.
That's what I'm saying. I said,
You know, he locked up before he went to the yard.
So yeah, so what you guys do for a green light on Sunday? You know what he's telling us?
You got a good shot of Perico Rocha right here. Again, that's China Boy Arias. This is Tonito Rodriguez, who's deceased. This China Boy is deceased. Tonito's deceased. Again, Perico flipped, and that's Ernie Castro right here. The guy you see in the background of the dark raincoat or overcoat is Champ Mendez. The deep voice you're hearing in the background to the left over here is Widow Shryock, and he's discussing a murder that occurred just recently. And you're hearing gang disputes. These meetings are all about information trading, information sharing, and resolution on issues that popped up when they're implementing the program. Again, the program is the taxation, and we're going to go ahead with the video now.
Only
Colombia. I'm talking about the rest of them over there. The dude from inmates just killed a dude over there. They killed a dude from Playboys and West Side Smiley Drive and all that. Well, they want to get out.
Okay, we'll tell them to stop. Or do you guys want the guys that kill the guy?
No, we want the guys. They want the guys to kill them. They want the guys. You know, they want the guys to live. So I said, well, I just had to deal with
but
the
still,
guys.
I wouldn't have had him hit for that.
I got about 4 different.
I'm glad I told him not to do it too. You know what? He was missing with some guy. I said, no.
I don't know what it is.
No, I'll do it. I'll do it.
They said that you took the street from the Playboys.
We're getting bleed over from all these conversations. The guy that just sat next to the room telephone and was dipping the chip is Gibby Escobar from Norwalk, Felipe Escobar, and he's over talking shy because he's adjacent to the mic. And that's the problem with this kind of technology they had then. They had a specific centralized recording device which oscillates. This thing turns, right? We have some early footage here where the camera's turning to catch everybody in the room. But here we go. We're going to run it until it clears up.
Favor for you.
Oh, it was right there.
That's what.
Yeah, wow.
I said, well, I don't know. So that's why I posted that.
Wow.
That is Sammy Villalba, Negro from Artisia. He was also recently murdered.
Hey, I forgot. Only alive. Hey, I told him, fuck it.
So what do I tell the Playboys on 18th Street?
We're gonna find out.
Oh yeah, he got it, Roy.
Also, this dude, Cool Cat.
So what you heard Shai discussing was a conflict between Playboys and 18th Street. They're looking for the individuals responsible for killing the guy from 18th Street. I believe that's what he just said. And that Playboys, 18th Street wants the guys responsible. And you heard some mention of them taking over a street there. Again, gang disputes that are resolved by Mexican Mafia.
He said that you told him that he can, that everybody that gets a clavo, that they gotta give up a third of it. And I told him, I never heard of no shit like that.
So here you're hearing Shai talk about Cool Cat from Azusa. I remember he was a good associate of Jaco Padilla, Jacques Padilla, Jaco from Azusa. Was a good friend of his, and Jack had a lot of confidence in him. Apparently he's professing to have the authority from Chuco to tax everybody a third of the dope that they bring in, and Shai saying that he's never heard of it. This is early in the program, remember this. This is the baby steps that were occurring and everybody having growing pains with this program, particularly with the street gangs and the county jail. This is when it was in its early formation. So you're going to see all the growing pains go through these videos. You're going to hear about some of the stuff here.
And so I told him to stop it, and that I would, until I talked to you. And so I talked to Cool Cat today, and he didn't say nothing about
The only one that was doing that stupid shit was Sleepy.
Yeah, well, I told him to stop it anyway. I said, you
The
know,
only one doing that was
don't
Sleepy.
be taking shit from camaradas, you know.
You're getting fucking money from the waistline and sending it home to him.
Shit jumping up, get down, man.
Chuco just mentioned Sleepy. The only one doing that kind of taxing was Sleepy, and that is not Sleepy Huerta from Winmas. That's Jesse Aragon from Artesia. This is an individual who was on the outs with the organization, considered dead weight. He was literally just a bum, and was a member in name only. That's what you consider a member and not a carnal. So you're hearing about that issue right there, and they put a stop to it. They told Cool Cat to stop it. Let's go on to the next issue.
You remember what I talked to you about last time about
Christina? Can I spend the night here?
Before I even got around to checking into that, I was on Joel, Tony Palacios wife.
You got this for 20
She came down, I went to the airport. I went to the airport.
Yeah, want to stay here? That time you kicked us all out. We'll hang out here for a minute.
And we had a meeting.
I'll spend the night.
And while I was over
keep
there,
it, huh?
I was talking
Overnight.
to Christina.
You know some
And
girls?
she told me herself.
We could do that.
She told me, she didn't say that she told ours that, but she told me that Dad would told her that.
You know I must be.
You know what I'm
If I'm
saying?
talking about girls, huh? You know,
Come on,
I must have better even got time.
to a meeting.
Not that I'm not
So,
good.
Yeah, I went down there yesterday too.
you told me talk to you. I was going
I could live here. Oh, no, not right
there
now.
in conference with him. And if I thought the time was right to ask him, I was gonna try.
You know, see, it felt it just right. This was a couple weeks ago, and we were talking, and it came out. You know, just in conversation, it came out. You know, because she was talking about the hookah that Art's fucking around with, that she was taking, that Brad was taking care of her kid, and that Art was beating the bride up with some bullshit. Anyway,
Wow,
that's how
I
she
met
started
checked
talking
in. He said he
about
met
Art.
you, Ralph.
And she said that yeah, well, Raul told me that
Del High,
everybody
on the
wanted
bus.
to kill him and
Last
blah, blah,
year,
blah, and
in December.
bullshit, not to listen to him.
You were
Well, that's
coming from
the exact
Folsom.
same
You picked you
one
from
that-
Folsom to go to the
that
Bay?
He told me this.
Did you spend the night in Folsom on your way to the
So
Bay?
it just came out.
I stayed about a week. They kicked me out of Delano.
But you were in Folsom, right?
Art shows up with that bag.
He was on his way to the Bay And you guys got jumped on the same bus. He said you guys started talking.
I met from. He did. He said he had a mensaje. Did you give him a mensaje to give to me?
I guess.
Yeah. You showed him a photo of his sign. He goes, because he recognized me. He goes, hey, you're Perico.
So Gibby is over speaking Shy again. What Shy and Chuco are talking about is Dagwood. Dagwood is a Mexican Mafia member who took some drugs into the county jail. He keistered them, and the condom or balloon burst, and he overdosed and died. But he's talking about Dagwood's wife, Christina, having spoken with Shy in the recent past, and that she said that Raul Dagwood was talking about people wanted to kill him. So I'm assuming that they're discussing putting Christina's worries at ease that Dagwood was killed somehow. That's mere speculation on my part. I'm just piecing together this conversation from the video. I could be wrong, but those are the circumstances surrounding Dagwood's death, and I'm sure that, you know, being the wife of a Mexican Mafia member had to bring about thoughts of, was he killed by his own brothers? Was he intentionally overdosed? But this was purely accidental when Dagwood died.
I seen him trying to be all cool and shit, you know what I mean? I said, "Wait, how do you know me?" You know what I mean? He goes, I seen a photo of me. I know you're talking about. He had a whip and shit.
I asked about the tan
Dark
out.
Why?
Well, I was going to tell him, hey, this was cheating.
He only had a couple of days when he went up there to the bay.
No, I know he paroled, but he violated and came back. He paroled and he violated again. Check it out. What happened was
I just use it for different shit.
Yeah.
And then I don't fuck
Promised
with
me to send me some drugs, right?
right?
Never did it. There was a lot of people wanting him to do shit. Like nothing, no murders or nothing. Just send messages, make calls, and other little things like that. I don't know what else they wanted him to do. He paroled. Didn't do nothing, came back, and I guess he panicked and checked in. That boy's talking high power shit about how the cause this and that. I'd rather die and all this.
I just keep him at a distance, man. And if I need to use him for something, I do.
He's been kind of scary anyway. He was leaving because I told him we were going up to the bay. Now I remember what you're talking about. Because we were going up there and I knew somebody. I said, he had a TV. He said, Chale. Come on, let's sail up. Me and you sail up. We get up there.
So what we're hearing is basically Gibby and Perico gossiping about individuals they've ran across, individuals, blah, blah, blah. And they're stepping on the audio of Shy and Chuco, which gets particularly interesting as we progress in this video.
I can find out where I want to go, then when you split, I can split too. You know what I mean? Because you're only here like 2 weeks.
What do you say?
I'm going home. Found somebody with TV. Little man from Sanford. Who? Little man from Sanford.
You want me to go down there and get your homies and his homies?
There's only one of them.
We've done that several times.
There's only one that that's about to go. Wants to sell up with me. If you do, you probably do. You know what I mean?
When I was going up there,
He was like, I will. You know what I mean?
Well, he was getting ready to put a green light on.
there was a lot of camaradas on the bus with me.
I met.
You heard Wedo Chirac say that Dag was getting ready to put a green light on a neighborhood, and this was a frequent occurrence back then. It's since been banned. It's only reserved for gangs that commit the ultimate sin of killing a carnal or opposing Mexican Mafia authority. But back in that day, it was a common occurrence. So, sorry, it's a little chaotic in this room. There's quite a few Mexican Mafia members, and there are multiple conversations going with one mic, and we're picking up all of it at once. As we weed through this, it'll get clearer. There's some really exciting topics coming up, particularly the conflict resolution and talking about killing, a really infamous killing, the Maxim Road murders. That's going to be discussed here as well. We're going to continue with the hotel meeting. I jumped ahead a little bit just to get away from Gibby running his jibs and over speaking the conversation. We're going to get into it right now.
He told me that. He said to me, and I said, well, I don't want it either, you know. So
the lawyer guy?
He just up in the air because you were busted.
You know what?
One thing about, you know, like I said, you know, I'm not paying favoritism, but my neighborhood stays in contact with the brothers on, you know, consistent basis. If something else they go, they won't do anything. I'm not saying that they're, you know, they know what time it is.
he was relying on
We got brothers from the hood.
he was relying on secondhand information. This dude Art Casper. He was saying, well, my homeboy told me that Jimmy was right there standing when they crossed us out. I said, what?
Yeah, that's he come and told me that you were standing right here when
I wouldn't see my homeboy. You know, I wouldn't even.
When we run together, we never go down there.
So the individual you're here speaking way off to the left is Alex Aguirre, Pee Wee. They're talking about an issue where Art, his homeboys complained to him where his gang was crossed out and Pee Wee was right there watching it. Pee Wee's denying it. And that's this conflict here. It's a little clearer without Gibby speaking into the mic.
I need to kick ass. And I told him, which one of your homeboys? And he named some off the wall names. And I told him, and supposedly, what did you say that Pee Wee gave his homeboy his gun to go shoot? Goes, oh yeah, who told you? Were you there? He says, no. Oh, my homeboy so-and-so told me.
Well, see, that's what he was coming to me with that shit. I said, man, look, man, you know, I got too much headache. I got too much areas it is. I said, so you're going to have to, I don't give a fuck what happens down there, man.
Yeah, you're going to have to be, you know, verbally checked.
Yeah, I even gave up the San Gabriel Valley. You know, if somebody wants it, you can have it.
Oh, I need the Hayes, number from Hayes. Went to Hayes. My niece ran away. She's over there in Hayes somewhere. She's only about 13.
I don't have the number, but I know where to get a hold of.
I think I called Richard, but no, the number is disconnected.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit there's a lot of shit jumping off over there, and part of it is Bassett's fault, and part of it's Eastside Bowling's fault, and I can't get Randy.
No, Randy, don't go over there.
I can't get him to admit that his neighborhood's fucking up and to come down.
So what they're talking about now is conflict over there in Almani area and Bassett and Bowling Park being responsible for it. The individual they just named is Randy Therian, cowboy from Besa Grande, who would not take responsibility for his homeboys. That's what Shai's complaining on now. And Shai's, it was Ernie Castro that said he doesn't even go over there. Like, one of the things that came out in trial was that Randy Therian was just about collecting money and making money and pulling snake moves on brothers, collecting behind their backs. And you're seeing a little example of that here.
To admit it, if they are, they are.
No, what did you say last time? My homeboys were getting fucked up. No, my homeboys were getting fucked up by the other neighborhood.
It don't matter if they're fucking us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know that, and I know that. You know.
I mean,
anyway, so you know that St. Gabriel Valley, somebody wants that they can have the 5,000 on taxes. They can have everything. I don't want it. That loan ain't got the time for it. You know,
What's the number? Because the brother needs some assistance right now. Man, they filed a case out
on who?
Attorney.
Who's that? Yeah, I know about that. So what do you mean? What's what number?
Attempted murder with no bail.
Yeah, no bail.
That money that I get goes to the carnales anyway.
Well, that's a good cause right there. Help him out with the lawyer, you know.
And the rolling client costs money.
Got that coming.
Rolling client is
That's Pee Wee talking in the background, supporting Smilon Gallardo from Hazard. He's talking about Smilon just caught a attempted murder with no bail. He needs money for attorneys, and I think they're going to segue into the whole Smilon territorial dispute and conflict that emerges there.
We got an argument on the phone the other day because he says everybody out here is bullshit, you know, because of Hazard, man. And I told him, look here, brother. That's when he told me, well, I said, what did you do when you was out? He said, well, I ain't going to lie, I'll talk on mine. I blew that dude Capone, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, that's fine, you know, that's cool.
Is that on the phone?
Yeah.
So you're hearing Shai speak about a conversation that he had with Smilon Gallardo and the problems that he's having in his neighborhood. So you get a little background on this. There was a huge conflict in Hazard, right? There was a individual who was dealing dope, I believe by the name of Dopey, that had loyalty from his homeboys there in Hazard. And there was Smilon, who had loyalty from his homeboys in Hazard. So there were two schools of thought in there. One school of Hazard gang members loyal to one homeboy who sold dope in the hood, and another school of Hazard gang members that were loyal to Smilon, who was also from Hazard. This emerged into a huge conflict. In fact, they shot at a Carnal Dagwood. They shot at him. They shot China Boy, Arias. They shot at Smailon. This is a gang opposing Mexican Mafia members. And I dare say that very few gangs in the history of the organization who have opposed the Mexican Mafia to this nature have come out of it okay. And I was speaking with one of the other experts recently, and he made a good point. He said Hazard only survived because of the influence they had the Mexican Mafia and because the Mexican Mafia wanted them to survive. So you're seeing this. In fact, Dagwood killed Rascal, who was Joker Gonzalez's little brother, stabbed him to death during one of these confrontations, which I was in Pelican Bay with Joker from Hazard, and I remember coming down to the bus with him and Danny for the 1995 RICO trial, and they had already had it in their head to kill Smailon on site. So Smailon was going to get whacked no matter what. He wasn't going to last in the organization because they did that to Joker's little brother. At the time that the murder was committed, Dagwood didn't know that it was a Carnal's little brother. He just reacted when the confrontation started. So let's get back into this. I wanted to give you a little background as to what they're talking about. Smailon's in the county jail. He's losing control of his neighborhood, and he thinks that the carnales are bullshitting because they're not in there enforcing. They're going to get into the nitty-gritty of this in a minute.
A couple days later, they filed a case on him.
Later, yeah.
That one?
And I just
No,
didn't
we don't know.
appreciate.
We don't know.
I just,
We don't know, huh?
I just didn't.
Yeah, that's one. It is.
But there's no case right now. There's no case.
See, there's no
Trying to
case.
utilize it because he got some 8-year joint suspended.
Wow.
They're trying to utilize that.
He gets in an argument and says something, and now look,
Yeah,
no.
what they gonna put?
Ouch.
You know, like I didn't appreciate. You know,
Prime example, no talking
he just straight out said, man, all you guys out there bullshitting. You know, and I said, wait a minute, man, you don't even know what's happening out here. You know, see, we can't get nowhere near Hazard, man. You know, I mean, I think everybody here can testify to that.
I don't know what's going on there.
We can't get next to him.
going on
The only time we can get him is if we get him in the torcida, or if we catch him outside the project. You know?
In our meetings that we had, we set up meetings with them. They refuse to come, or else they told us they'll come. We go, they don't come. We go, they don't come. We try to go in their neighborhood, they see any car that they don't know, they scatter like little bitches. And they don't hang around the streets no more. So the only way we're gonna have to do it is like last time, park in the and walk.
Exactly. That's
Wait, somebody run by me. What's happening with Hazard? I'm in the black. I'm in the
homeboy.
So Chuco and Shire are talking about the inability to get into Hazard because it's such a small neighborhood. It's such a dangerous neighborhood. And they're going to get into that in a second. Chuco's saying that they're running, they're failing to come to meetings. You heard that yourself. They're going to get into this a little deeper right now.
I remember that.
They shot at
See, like,
Dagwood.
so it's
and
not
they
that
shot
easy
at
just to see. Vatos forget when they're busted. They forget what it's like
We're down
out
there,
here. You know?
but I was down there busting heads.
And what we're going through out here, they forget that.
And now what?
I went down there and
They get in there and they
I went
feel
down there and cracked
neglected
about
and-
5 heads.
And they start getting frustrated and he gets excited. I know he
Especially not
gets
now. You go down there,
excited.
they'll try to kill you.
They don't want to come here.
No,
He
no.
feels
If you go down
everybody
there,
out here just abandon
They
him.
don't want to come to an agreement or
And
anything.
that ain't what's happening. You know? I
I
personally,
know he's a good brother, man.
That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get to an
They
agreement.
want it or they
Ain't no
just.
question about that.
They're rats.
everybody in this room right here is 110%.
No, but I'm saying he's not here, but I'm saying, I'll speak up for him and say that, because, you really don't know the brother, but I know him because I spend a lot of time with him, and I know where his heart's at.
I spend a lot of time with him too, bro.
I'm gonna say,
I used to run with him out here on the street.
We can't get into
I'm talking about since he's been a brother, that's what I'm talking about.
He's the same guy.
No, wait a
Same
minute.
guy. What difference does it
Figure it
make?
out, figure it out.
Whether he's before or after, he's the same guy.
Figure it out. We can get in there. No. We can get in there. But
So you're seeing Smailon's key supporter, Pee-wee Aguirre, from Avenue, supports Smailon. That was one of his key money-earning partners. That's one of his key supporters. Him, Pee-wee Aguirre, Smailon Gallardo, and Tonito from Sereno were all partners in business, right? And they made a lot of money. They were loyal to each other, and you're seeing that emerge in this conversation that it's going to get a little heated in a minute.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's a
But we're gonna
suicide.
have to chase him.
Are you gonna go do a suicide, brother? I'm not.
You know, we're gonna have to chase him.
Unless they go kill somebody's mama or something, or go somebody, or kill a carnal, you know, they will go do a suicide. But so far, ain't nothing like they ain't done nothing but run their mouth.
What are we gonna do? What
Hey, it's a,
we have to do? Then get somebody.
What is it like they shot at Dagwood and all that?
Shot at Dagwood, shot homeboy. Zahan shot at Smalion.
All that is already
Talking about-
transpired.
Talking about they're gonna kill all the brothers except Little Shy.
why not let him
Talk to Little
shine?
Shy.
Why not let him shine?
Because they wanna talk to him.
Because he knows who he is.
They didn't say they'll kill me too if they
They
get
said
the
you're the
chance.
only one that they'll talk to.
But they said, I'm the only one they'll talk to, that when that junta, they wanna talk to clean that shit up, and they said I'm the only one they'll talk to.
So Shy has such a good reputation in Hazard. I remember meeting him there on multiple occasions. When I first got out of prison, he picked me up in the county jail. He took me to Hazard Projects. We went to Rocky's apartment, Rocky Luna, who was a godfather of Hazard, and we got high. We shot some dope. But he had the respect of all those youngsters. They all knew who he was. They all knew who Rocky was. I remember on one instance, I'm walking to the projects. I went down there on my own, and they jacked me up. They jacked me up. They told me I had to pay them taxes. I was selling some drugs, and they told me I had to pay them taxes. And I told them, wait a minute. You know, I'm not paying you taxes. And a couple of them encircled me, and I told them, I says, you know who I am? And I told them, I says, I'm here to see Rocky and Shy. And they asked me who I was, and I told them exactly who I was, right? So my name's Boxer from the Mexican Mafia, and I'm coming here to see my brothers. And they immediately changed tune. That's how much respect those two names had, Rocky and Shy. I don't think it was because of my name. I think they were getting ready to dome me right there, you know. But I had to name drop immediately. I had to recover because I was in peril. But that's the respect that Shy had in that hood. You see, this is a really heated conflict that occurred within the organization and between Hazard and the organization. But remember, you had Danny Boy Pina, you had Rocky Luna. Rocky had just got murdered. You had Joker. You had Danny Boy Pina. All those guys were from Hazard, so they had huge influence. They had huge representation in the organization. That's why they didn't end up on a permanent green light list after shooting at brothers. We're going to continue running this clip for 1 minute, and we're going to end it.
Together.
They won't.
2 or 3 times.
Since when did they make demands?
See, we could do
Since
it.
when did they start
We
making
could do it.
demands?
We could do all that wild technology, but the thing is, the bottom line is Joker and Chico are influencing boxers are down in there, and you know they're riding from Pelican Bay down to there and tell them it's okay, that, you know what they're doing and this and that, and you know they're running the neighborhood from the Pinta and neglect the
Joker's a carnal.
Yeah.
Okay, watch out.
His
Check
brother
this
got
out.
killed
Yeah, I know.
accidentally.
But yeah, I know.
And see, you don't know, and he's not
Never
taking it
saw it.
like that. So you know what I mean? It's just,
You don't know what.
I said that it was an accidental. He's not taking it
Yeah, he
kind of
doesn't know.
personal. In other words.
What wouldn't you? If you didn't know that it was an accident?
He hits the nail on the head. Joker's brother was killed, stabbed by another carnal, Dagwood, in a confrontation over this very issue. And Joker's not taking it lightly. I wouldn't take it lightly if my brother was killed like that. But here you see in a heated conflict resolution and territorial dispute over Hazard. They're bucking against Smilon, and Pee Wee's in there trying to get the brothers to support Smilon. But like everybody's saying, it's a suicide job to go in there because those guys are ready to shoot. Just started talking about Little Joker, who was murdered in the Hazard projects, right, by a carnal by the name of Dagwood. And Pee Wee was defending Smilon, saying Smilon was upset in the county jail because of what happened. And I want to state clearly that Hazard has always been loyal to the Mexican Mafia. There was Champrenoso, there was Rocky Luna, there was Danny Peña, there was Little Joker, Joker Jose Gonzalez, there were Chico from Hazard. There were multiple Mexican Mafia members from Hazard, and they never received any opposition to the Mexican Mafia until Smilon came along. it was Smilon's managerial style. I mean, he was a thug. That's all he was a thug. All he knew was strong arming and flexing on people, and that's what he was doing. He was flexing on his own homeboys, and they rebelled on him. During one of those confrontations, Dagwood stabbed Little Joker and killed him. The Mexican Mafia member killed him. Dagwood didn't know that it was Carnales' brother. He killed him, and that's what Wedo Shai was talking about in that last instance, right? Because Pee Wee was ace coon booms with Smilon. Like, they were tight. They were business partners. Tonito, Smilon, and Tonito from Sereno, Smilon from Hazard, and Pee Wee were like a nucleus of their crew, right? And at every meeting, Pee Wee roars up on Smilon's behalf. When Smilon was really in the wrong for this, really in the wrong. And I knew when I transferred down in 1995 on the bus trip to West Valley Detention Center with Danny Boy and Smilon, they had already planned to kill him. And I had volunteered with them. I said, look, if you want to do this, I have a knife and I have a key right here, and I'll help you. And I already knew that they were dead set on killing Smilon. And it was going to happen. If there was a chance at that hearing that we were supposed to go to, they were going to wax Smilon. So let's pick up the conversation where it left off. They're talking about Little Joker and the confusion as to them attempting to send message up there to the Bay that, you know, it was an accident, that and how it went down. So let's listen to this conversation now.
I mean, you know, people have tried to get at him and let him know what's up, but he don't respond. So, you know what I mean? That's on him.
Well, you know, I can't, Chico and Joker, I can't, whatever they're doing, whatever they're saying or nothing, whatever their
I mean,
actions
you gotta
are.
look at the facts.
Yeah.
That's what's taking, that's why we can't get nothing done.
Before you got out, brother, this brother Chico is writing letters. And we got a hold of that he thinks we didn't get a hold.
So they're talking about Chico from Hazard writing letters out to the streets, calling brothers not brothers, just like Chico said here. The individual with the deep voice on a camera frame is Raymond Triac. The individual with the higher voice that you hear speaking in that trio there, that's Pee Wee Aguirre, Alex Aguirre.
He was calling brothers not real carnalismos. You know, tying those to people that are not brothers. And then talking, yeah, what you're doing, you keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, I'm not, what Chico and all that, what he's done, I'm not even, in fact, that don't even, as far as what's happening with that don't even hinder, you know, as far as I'm concerned. Either the motherfuckers fucked up and there's only, and they're gonna have to clean it up if they want that green light. It's as simple as that, you know. And if they want to sit down and talk to me, I'll sit down. I told Smiley on that. He keeps calling me, telling me, what am I waiting for?
See, they got major influence.
I'm not gonna walk down there. Smiley keeps asking me, what am I waiting on? How come I don't go down there and talk to him?
So, Wedo Shai stated quite clearly that Hazard's already f***ed up. They shot at Acardar. They shot at China Boy. I believe they shot him. They shot at Smilon. I believe they pulled guns on one incident. And they've already showed opposition to the organization. They're on the green light list. The guys up at the Bay want the green light list off. They want it off immediately. And one of the only guys they'll talk to is Wedo Shai, because Wedo Shai was down there almost every day. I remember one time I did a violation and he picked me up from Los Angeles Men's Central Jail. It was about 6 in the morning when I got out. And where did he take me? He took me to Rocky Luna's house, the Godfather right there, Rocky from Hazard. And we got high in the project. We shot some dope together. And they treated him like royalty there. Wedo Shai's loved by those guys because he was always down there. Manuel Luna was his compadre. Rocky was his compadre. And he was always in that area. So that's what he's talking about. He'll go down there and talk to them, but he's not going to be foolish and walk down there and get killed because those guys have guns. And they already showed a willingness to use violence against the organization.
Not on a death wish, that's why.
What does he want me to do? Walk down there in the middle of the neighborhood and get shot? Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. You know, I mean, I can understand he's worried about his money. You know, he says, look man, I'm losing money. You know, I said, yeah, well I understand that, brother. You know, I said, but we set up a meeting, I don't know how many times. Remember it was supposed to be in our Amber Park and all that shit. They won't show up. So what do we do? No, I'm not gonna go down there. If I'm gonna go down there, I'm gonna go and shoot him.
think anybody that went down, that's the whole purpose.
But no, Smilon wants this shit cleaned up. You know, that's what, you ought to know you just got out of it. You know, he told me, he said, I want this shit stopped once and for all, get together with him. He even had me call that dude Joker or whatever his name is. And I talked to him, and they were supposed to get back at me for the junta, and they never did. That was about the third time. And I finally coached my loan. I said, look, brother, I wash my hands of it, man. You know, if they want to talk, we'll talk.
You don't go in there and talk.
But what can I do?
Can you go in there?
I'll go in there.
No, but the thing is, without being harmed or anything.
I can't say that, but I mean,
We went in there.
I'll go in there.
We went in there cracking heads. We ended up cracking about 5 heads.
Wait a minute. We'll go in there then, bro. You know, I mean, you're talking about, if I'm going to go in there, I'm going to go in there on suicide, and I'm going to get off, you know. I'm not just going to walk in there and say, hey, man, come here, you know, hey, vamos a hablar, you know. I'm not going to do that. It's not going to happen. They're going to have to come out and sit down and talk to me, to us, you know, not just to me, to all of us, you know, because the decision isn't mine. They're the ones that said they want to talk to me. But if you want to go down there just to get off and do a suicide, we can do that too.
So Pee-wee's saying he wants to go down there and do a suicide. And Shy's, the one thing about Shy's a straight out killer. Shy's got at least a half a dozen murders under his belt. That's a killing pool right there. And I dare say, he means it when he says he'll go on the mission. I told the story one time on the channel about, I got in a beef with the Vago prospect, and I had him hit and pulse him. Shy came out to the yard with a big old knife that day. The hit was already in the mix. And he said, let's go. I said, what's up? He says, oh, I heard you had some beef, and let's go kill him. That's the kind of friend he was. There's a movie clip, trailer somewhere where Matt, I think it was Ben Affleck, goes up to Jeremy Renner and says, we're going to hurt some people, and you can't ask anything about it. And Jeremy Renner paused for a second. He says something in a response. He said, that's the kind of friends you want, right? I've seen a meme on TikTok or something with that specific clip, and that's the kind of friend Shy was, right? So Shy's dead serious when he says, if we go on a suicide mission, we're going to kill. So he means every word of what he's saying there. This is a no-nonsense guy. And so is Pee-wee. Pee-wee's a killer too. Don't take that away from Alex Aguirre. They're killers in that room. Some of them are not. There's some killers in there, and some are not. Like Gibby from Norwalk, not a killer. Perico from Norwalk, not a killer. China Boy Arias, not a killer. Those guys are not killers. The rest of them, those guys are killers.
That's what I'm talking about.
But no, we're talking about.
Don't tell me that, well, you could go in there when you talk about you ain't gonna go in there.
No,
You could go in there, but I'm not gonna go. You know what I mean? What was that?
Did I tell you that?
Right now you just said that. You said,
No, you
go in
said,
there.
you know, you told him, you said, I'll go in there, and I said, we'll go
He's
there.
asking me
Come on,
about
we're just arguing now. Forget that. We're trying
And
to.
I just told
Let's not even get into all
then
that.
you go then, you know?
Right.
Come on, man.
We're talking about going down there and talking
Take
to
care of
him.
business, yeah.
That's just the argument
Hey,
there.
the thing is, go in there to take care of business, not to go in there, we're talking about
Anybody
going
arguing,
in there and talking
I'm just
about
telling
all this. Yeah, not to go in there just to get that.
See, check this out, you don't know me, I don't know you. But see, all that hardcore bullshit, it ain't me, brother. I know what I can do, and you know what you can do. You know, now, I'm sitting here talking about what Smilon wants to do with that neighborhood.
We can't,
He wants it,
we can't go in there.
he wants everything smoothed out, straight out, he wants all this shit stopped.
Well, you know, it's not the bottom line. Like you said, it's not gonna happen unless we force the issue. Like you said, not just you, not all of us. If that's the case, you know what I mean? It can't be just one person.
Okay, let's take for instance.
I like the way, should I check them real quick? Like, hey, all that tough guy stuff, that's not me. Shy's a tough guy. Shy's a killer. He's got more notches on anybody in that room right there. And I know that he doesn't like Pee-wee. Pee-wee's an argumentative, arrogant guy, right? That's just the way he is. It's the way he's always been. Well, when I met him, he wasn't that way. You know, as I seen later on emerge in the calls and things of this nature, because I know Pee-wee personally. I was in courtroom with him. We were on the yard together. I like the guy. But I know that Shy doesn't like him because he believes he's arrogant and, you know, he's kind of power happy, right? Had a conversation with Shy over it. in the past, and he just doesn't like him, right? And you see that come through in their communications when they talk. It's always confrontational. So Chuco's going to break down a hypothetical here.
Hypothetically, take me, I'm Smiley, I'm in the condal, and it happened to me, and what do I expect? Okay, this is what I expect. This shit tried to get resolved. It has tried to.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell this brother right here.
Okay,
Smiley has
wait a minute, not under one occasion, not on 2 occasions, but 3 that I know of. Okay? Now, the next and only other option there is now is either to send people in there or let it continue the way we're dealing with it now. Motherfuckers get locked up, they get popped. They get knocked all over the fucking 4 walls. Oh, you know, we've been trying.
They got their own little bounty, just like my little
Yeah, we've been putting people in the gas stations. Blackouts come. They're called the blackouts.
Portions of the proceeds will benefit the V Foundation.
Yeah, but see, they got their own bounty too now, just like my Ravino.
They're tired. And they're gelling, and they go in there and lock up, and they come out and they go right into the park.
Just a little side note. Have you noticed that Gibby from Norwalk, sitting directly to the left of the camera, has not stopped eating this whole freaking meeting? He's been shoveling chips and double dipping. I noticed a couple of you guys caught that. They said, put him on the list for double dipping. Well, this guy's just gnawing away. He must have the munchies. Must have smoked some weed or something. So Chuco's talking about they have set people up around the hazard projects and gas stations looking for those guys. They're hunting them. He says the people call the police. They report them. Then they get to the county jail and they lock up. They go into the hazard module now, which was then at the time they had hazard module, just like the Maravillas did.
Right into their park.
You know, I didn't want to be out there. And
So instead of sacrificing us brothers, we have too many motherfucking people with us that are for us, that are willing to do things for us, that can be put to use in situations similar to this.
They're attempting to resolve the hazard issue. You've seen the mob at work here at conflict resolution and territorial disputes, particularly that of big hazard as it involves the MA and its conflict with the MA. Hope you enjoyed this video, folks. The breakdown of it, the characters, and the cracking of the sunflower seeds, or whatever that is. Driving me crazy. You know, I've been seeing in the comments that people are suggesting that the carnales were scared to go on the projects, but I can assure you that there's some real killers in there. Even though it's chaotic, the meetings are unorganized, there's no agenda set, those guys are not afraid. They would willingly go in there and kill people, but it, as Shai had described earlier, it would take a suicide mission because hazard's situated in such a way that it's kind of hard to get in and it's kind of hard to get out. So unless you're going in there guns a-blazing, it's just not prudent for anybody to do. That, and, you know, another comment was that why did Hazard survive when they went to war with the Mexican Mafia? Well, they went to war with Smilon. That's who they went to war with. They didn't like his way of heavy-handedness, his bullying, his throwing his weight around. They just didn't like it. That's what they were opposing. They weren't opposing the Mexican Mafia because the Mexican Mafia had long been situated in Hazard. There's been a lot of carnales from there. Rocky Luna, the Godfather, the main commissioner, Champrenoso, Danny Boy, Peña, Chico from Hazard, and Joker. Hazard has a lot of influence in the Mexican Mafia. And I think part of the reason they survived is because the Mafia wanted them to survive. Danny Boy has family there. Joker has family there. All those members, they didn't want to see their family targeted. So it never was in real risk of being permanently placed on the hit list like Cherryville or Lowell or some of these other gangs. It just had to be resolved, the situation with Smilon. And we're going to get into that now. I think they're going to segue into Smilon being upset. We're going to continue with this video, and I'll give you the breakdown as we go along. Here we go, folks. Here's the video.
Certainly can't be for service. Get next day delivery with just one phone call.
You know, I know how Smiley feels, and I feel exactly the same way.
Is this everybody here? Supposed to be?
Yeah, Randy and Turtle. What happened?
They're on their way.
Did Randy get contact with Turtle? I'm just waiting on him.
The individuals they're talking about, they're waiting to arrive at the meeting is Randy Therian, cowboy from Bassett, and Turtle, which is Ronald Baez, who recently just died in New Mexico while living with his mother.
Randy iba a levantar, he's gonna pick him up.
We're in traffic because he's kind of mixed up out there ahorita en la freeway.
Huh?
He's living on Riverside now.
Oh, that's a drive. It's gonna be a while.
That was about 6:30. 6:30.
Time is now.
Heard all that traffic. Heard all that traffic and shit.
We can say it'd be here in an hour, it'd be an hour the next day.
That's not weak. They don't show up sometimes.
The thing is, right now, is
We can beat them.
how are we gonna handle
Does he have a
this
card
right now?
for
How do we
Find out where
wanna
he's at.
handle it? That's the thing. You wanna, if somebody tries to talk to somebody, if not, then we gotta go another way.
You know what?
The O.J. Simpson trial is back underway, and Judge Lance Ito has tentatively decided to sequester the jury, move them to a secret location to keep them away from outside influences. Also, as expected, O.J. Simpson's attorneys confirmed today they will not challenge the admissibility of DNA-related evidence. Judge Ito took the unusual step of asking Simpson himself to be under the...
Who has any influence or any contact with anybody from Hazard that is just level-headed?
Confused
Nobody?
people, they want, against my law, they want,
No, because we have to try again, just the benefit, to give the brother benefit of the doubt that we did try
I
again.
did try, brother. When he called and told me that, I called down there and I talked to that Bible that he gave me the number.
that they moved.
We don't want to.
And they were supposed to get back at me the next day. After they were gonna have a junta the next day. After I talked to them on a Thursday. They were gonna have a junta the next day on a Friday. They were gonna talk about getting together with us and collect some payment for Smilon, and they never did either one. They never got.
So it's exactly as I remembered it, that they're talking about resolving this issue for Smilon. You could hear Pee Wee in the background speaking on behalf of Smilon that, well, what he's saying actually is that, obviously he's voicing Smilon's displeasure with what's happening. But Shai's saying that he spoke to the individual that Smilon gave him the number to, and they were supposed to have a junta and collect money for Smilon, and it just didn't happen.
Paid it for him, and they never got back at me.
That's why you're a Hall of Famer.
There's one other option that I know.
The last one right there too. That's
What you don't
right.
understand is they rob
See,
us
I don't know
connections. They didn't just, they burn
I don't know this, none of the
Well, they rob
situation.
them of his connections and rent them.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, también, they got Chico and another brother who were the
No ladies coming in, no. I was a big fan to this.
Well, apparently they are because Chico and them.
Brought a broom home?
This and this. And then
No, it's pretty good. The rug's easy on. Look, watch out.
They all.
That's why they get this fucking cheap shit,
I'm
eh?
just trying to get something done and they're just, making it seem like it's all right.
Probably is on that.
You hear a side conversation going off to the left, which is Sammy Villalba and Pee Wee Aguirre talking about Joker and Chico. That's Joker from Hazard, which is Jose Gonzalez, and Chico, who is Ricky Cruz. And Sammy Villalba was talking about them sending messages to the street. And Pee Wee's even questioning, like, are they carnales? He says, yeah, apparently they are because they're sending messages. So if you listen to all the chaotic communication there, it's really disappointing that it's not one person speaking at a time, and there's Perico right there chewing sunflower seeds, cracking in the ear, and if it's not that, it's Gibby digging in the chips and having side conversations with Perico. But if you listen to the minutia, the stuff going on in the background, you pick up a lot of information.
They don't see,
They
they're
wanna
not
back
getting the
up?
messages, the bottom line, because if they were, they'd be calling us, telling them they want to talk.
They already did that.
No, what I'm saying is, they're not getting, there's been
The individual who just picked up the bag of chips and the white T-shirt and the baseball cap is Tonito Rodriguez. He was killed by Lowell Street, Sereno, right after this actually happened, not long after this video was taken. The individual in the frozen frame with the wristband, I think it's a rosario he's wearing, that's Perico Rocha.
neighborhoods before in the past, they were in the hat, and they were, believe me, they were on the phone, they were calling the brothers, they talking about, hey, we're coming to meet you, we want to clean this shit up. Not like this going on for 6-7 months. They're not doing that.
They already did that, brother. They called us. They got
They didn't do it because they didn't come through.
They didn't show up.
Well, there it is there. That's what I'm saying. We're talking about examples that people have showed up and did what they had to do.
Yeah, well,
People ain't getting the message.
That's those neighborhoods.
That's what I'm saying. Well, that's
You know
what
where
they're not getting.
You know where I feel it's not getting completed as before. If we cut off all the juntas with the neighborhoods as a whole. You know, carnales got this side, they control the little area. They got this side, they control this area. And we had all these motherfuckers, and we say, crush this fucking neighborhood. Boom! They went and crushed the motherfuckers where they were fucking calling us up and said no more. You know how big is MS? They're fucking, they're into the thousands, them little motherfuckers. And they fucking put their motherfucking hands up in the air. 18.
No, Chuco hit a valid point. They stopped having massive juntas because it was bringing too much heat. I remember the carnales made this decision. Like, it's too public, it's too focal, and they stopped having them. They started having little offshoot meetings, like one carnal would go, two carnales would go. But before, everybody attended, all gangs attended, like the Elysian Park meeting, a couple other meetings they had, right? The Salvador Park meeting, those are big juntas, right? And they stopped having that. And Chuco's, he's correlating the lack of compliance by hazard with the lack of enforcement. I think that's a key point that we're looking at right here. This is where the Mexican Mafia started losing grip on some gangs, right? Because as Chuco explained, during those juntas, they'd say, hey, we're targeting this gang, everybody go take after them. And those barrios would do it, and they'd get smashed, and the gangs would come back immediately. Hey, we want peace, we want to resolve this, we want to clean it up. Pee-wee said the same thing. Pee-wee said the same thing. They want the same result, but they're using a different tactic, and it's not working, and they're seeing that come to play now.
You know, quite a few. But this neighborhood is kind of hard. They're confined. They're confined in a fucking little area like this.
Just like Maravilla too. Maravilla ain't calling, talking about what can we do, you know. And they ain't calling. They're just hiding off in the little projects and shit, you know, just like Hazard do.
But then again, you got to remember about, you still got a lot of people asking about Maravilla. What do we do with Maravilla? They're on the line. What do we do? Some people say, not really forcing issue. You know, so they get a call, you know, it's on, green light, full blown, boom, boom, boom. Like it was in the beginning, full blown. They had their own tank. You know, they had their own tank and all that, but now it's kind of like simmered down, so now you see some on the line and all this and that. That's what,
you know, there's a Maravilla runs its ages into the 60s. We ain't fucking with that old man. It's bringing it down to a level.
Some of them autos are good.
They brought up a good point here about the conflict with Maravilla. See, Maravilla had their own module. They had their own little PC module where they were immediately put when they went to the county jail. A lot of people don't realize that, but Maravilla was immediately PC'd when they went to the county jail. And they started that with some other gangs after the Mexican Mafia started green-lighting them. And they stayed that way for years. This brings up a very interesting topic, how Maravilla came back into the fold, right? Alfred Sandoval is responsible for bringing them back as camaradas. And you still see some people in comment sections and social media saying they don't pay taxes. Oh, I guarantee you they pay taxes. I guarantee you Maravilla pays taxes. There may be some offshoots, and like, look, here's a reality. That not everybody in the hood pays taxes. Not everybody. There's some drug dealers that do it without the knowledge of Mexican Mafia members and their crews. I mean, if you're smart, you do it that way. But Maravilla answers to Chato, and that's a reality, right? But the whole saga of Maravilla originated in the 70s in San Quentin State Prison with the creation of Los Maravillosos. Mundo does a couple pieces on it. He talks about them extensively. You might learn something from that whole saga there. But it went on for years. It went on for years. People say that Maravilla was against the Mexican Mafia, but like 10 of the original members were from Maravilla. The Mexican Mafia's core was Maravilla. Somehow that went off the rails in the 1970s when they wanted to start their own organization. And it was bad ever since. And they couldn't have survived had they not been protected. But there was a conflict in ideology in the organization because we had good camaradas that were from Maravilla. So the decision was made in the county jail. They played that, right? That's how it worked in the county jail. It was on site. Maravilla started getting down to, and they were fighting for theirs, right? But they did have their own PC module, and that's a reality. Anybody could say, "Oh, it's the Maravilla module." It was a PC module. And I mean that with all due respect. They had no choice in it. They were housed there by the county jail, and that's all there was to it. They had no choice where they were going. So I'm not saying that the guys from Maravilla went and PC'd up. I'm not saying that at all. So I mean no offense to the guys from Maravilla. I'm just telling the story like it was. But since Chato brought them back, they're all in the fold. So when this occurred in the state, if you were from Maravilla and you were walking the main line, you were still cool. Because they didn't play that in the state. The carnales up at the bay, we never targeted dudes from Maravilla. Not because they were from Maravilla. There were a couple guys that were targeted. I remember Eddie from Lopez was one of the most prolific guys that would disrespect carnales on the bus. Eddie Green Eyes, I think his name was, from Lopez Maravilla. I remember riding on the bus with him one day, and he would always disrespect Guate, spit at him, and all the carnales, and I just talked to him. I talked to him, and I just told him, I say, "Hey, bro," I says, honestly, why are you going to do that? I said, they're not going to disrespect you. I says, all you're doing is placing a bigger target. I said, you got carnales talking about cutting out bars to get you, and they will do it if they get the chance. I says, okay, you got to beef with them, you got to beef, but, handle it like a man. When the doors open up, kill somebody. Handle it that way. Or just wait for your opportunity. I said, but the disrespect on the bus in front of the cops and all that, and he actually quieted down after that. It was a really intelligent, respectful conversation that I had with him. He thought that I was going to come off crazy because I was in the van with him. I was special transport. And I wasn't going to do anything to him. I didn't have any beef with him. I just told him, hey, you disrespected that brother. He wants you hit. I'm not going to hit you for him. I wasn't going to do that. I was asked a couple times, hey, get that guy. And I wouldn't do it. Like, you get him. You get him. You got the beef with him. But I didn't have any beef with this guy, Eddie. And I just told him flat out. But Maravilla had a real green light, right? And they survived because they were isolated. And then, thankfully, Alfred Sandoval got them off the lista. And I still see some of those comments that they don't pay taxes. But they do. That's the reality. Let's get on with the video, folks.
It's on the chains, yeah, it's on chains. No, I said a while back, remember when you first met, we were selling, and I asked you, what's up with Maravilla? And you said it was just against the Maravilla, so it's not the whole neighborhood. But now it's the whole neighborhood again?
No. Okay.
Back then, like in the 80s.
The north. Oh, back then. It's just like, like the dudes from the north there.
No, I was asking about Maravilla.
We don't have pleito with the norteños. Just the motherfuckers, they have the 14 that want to blast on the sureños.
Yeah. But when you ran it by me, correct me if I'm wrong, you said it's only peddling with them old Maravilloso fools and the rest of them.
We've been peddling with Maravilla since the 60s, man.
I understand that.
They used to run with the farmeros.
I understand that.
But right now, we got camaradas from Maravilla. Everybody from Maravilla don't feel the way that they do.
Okay.
In other words, like they don't even consider themselves sureños. They don't play that shit. They just say puro maravilla y total. They don't all that sureños shit.
See, but well, the ones I'm not backing up nothing, but I'm just saying that I remember everyone I ever ran into from Maravilla was always Sureño, down with
Yeah, well, there's a whole bunch of them, but I'm saying there are some that.
Okay, but now bring me up to date. Is there a green light on Maravilla?
Yeah, that's the bottom line. That's what people want to know.
When people ask me that, I tell them, look, you know if a motherfucker's an enemy or not.
Oh, I'm sure of that, but no, what I'm saying is, like if I was to get a call tomorrow from some homeboys, there's about to Maravilla on the laeme, I mean, and they want to blast them, what do I tell them?
Tell them are they getting with the program? And they say, yeah.
Exactly, there you go.
That's all.
Yeah. Judgment call?
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. See, judgment call, and that leaves the door open.
Yeah, for all kinds of
mistakes. We talk about camaradas. I mean, realistically speaking, I mean, we're out here, you've been out here on the streets. How many camaradas, I mean, righteous camaradas,
come forward.
Come forward, call the brother, what's up, man, you need something, Like in the pen, like when I'm in the joint, I got a gang of camaradas, motherfuckers, they want to do anything for me. They want to lick my nuts and all that. But they, to me, they're just doing that because they're there. But when they get out, I'll never see them again. That ain't no camarada. That's what I'm talking about. A camarada is with us to the end. I mean, he comes and checks in with us. I'm a camarada. He's gonna show it out.
I think everybody knows what a camarada is.
But Pee Wee hit on a perfect point. It's the thing I've been saying all along. Just because you're from the sur or you're a south sider or you're from a hood, it doesn't make you a camarada. Camaradas are true blues. So Pee Wee hit on that, hard. Like, hey, camaradas are a dime a dozen in prison, but on the streets, they come in, they check in, they do what they have to do. That's a camarada. Camarada is a distinction. So this bastardized, corrupted version of what camarada is real. I mean, it still holds true today. A lot of people might not think that, but a camarada to the organization is something entirely different. That's an earned title. That's an earned title done through work and dedication and commitment to the organization. So they're talking about the Maravilla still. We're going to cut out there. I hope we learned something about this. Shai just said that it has been occurring since the 60s when Maravilla was running with the NF. I know that in the 70s or the 60s, they started their own organization called Los Maravillosos, which further angered and enraged the organization. The Mexican Mafia killed some of them in San Quentin at the time, and that's when the conflict started. And you hear Gibby trying to find out the distinction, and they come down to it's a judgment call. It's a judgment call. So this is all past history. I just wanted to give you some kind of history about the Maravillas and how the conflict arose and how it continued and how they got isolated and how that war started in the county jail between the Sureños and Maravilla and what it is today. And so we're going to continue with the hotel meeting where we left off when they were talking about Maravilla and the definition of what a camarada was. I mean, I think we got some great information out of those clips once we broke them down. Once you digest it and you analyze it, you get a lot out of it. I mean, there's stuff being said here that holds true even today. So let's get right back into the video. We're going to run a little while of it, and then I'll give you a breakdown. Here we go.
Everybody knows what a camarada is.
Okay, I know, but I'm just saying, I mean, how many are there out here?
Okay,
we're talking about.
Now we're back to the judgment.
There's whole barrios, man, they're supposed to be camaradas. But you don't see them jumping over here licking our boots and shit. They're not supposed to.
No, but I'm just saying, I mean, they should call.
Make themselves available.
Contact. What's going on?
In fact, I'm going to tell you something. Me and Victoria were talking about this yesterday. We put too much on that shit to get people to do stuff for us.
It should be just.
We should go back. We're going to kill somebody, then we do it.
There you go.
Fuck all this shit and then to go here and do this for me. Years ago, that's the way it was. We didn't have nobody killing
I never really used. I know like a lot. I have a couple camaradas. I had a couple camaradas, but I say, I've done a lot of this thing where this shit started. It was the brothers doing it. It was no camarada. What's happening now? The brothers were doing it.
Might be one road dog.
That is true. That is true. Mundo said this a number of times on his videos. That we would do our own hits. I did my hits too. Shai did his hits. All the carnales do their hits. But there has been a shift to having camaradas do that. You'll see that in some of the murders that have taken place recently. Tonito and a couple others. They've had camaradas killing real carnales. Ed was killed by a camarada. It's just happening more frequently. And back in the day, we did our own work. You know, if it was a carnal was going. You know, and if you called a personal hit, then you're going to go personally do that hit. So the organization has drifted from that because I think part of it was the isolation, but there's in Tonito's case, all they had to do was wait until someone got around him, right? And there were carnales on the streets for Dead and they didn't go do it, but they sent camaradas to do it. I think that's where the organization is changing. And they're focusing on, and this is like 95, 2005. This is 30 years ago that this video took place. And they were saying it then. And it holds true today.
With the guerra with the Mayates back in the 80s, right?
Where the shit,
I'm talking about now.
Where the shit started is where we were put in a situation where we
couldn't do nothing. Well, we couldn't do nothing.
And this situation falls out here in the streets too.
But and there are situations where we need to save ourselves, man, and sacrifice somebody else.
Yeah,
you know, but there's time. But what I'm saying is some carnales rely too much on getting other people.
Initially, whatever it is, if I go with a camarada or carnal, initially, the first thing, whatever it is, I'm presenting, I'm representing. But after that, it might be a camarada, but I'm going representing us.
Back to what you were saying originally.
That's how
well, you were saying,
that's what it's all about, right? That's what I'm saying. I'm there, and I'm letting know firsthand this is what time it is. And after that, if I don't show up next time, but somebody else will, and when the shit, whatever needs to be done, if it gets deep, I'll be there too.
Hey, but what you were saying originally about what brought the camarada.
Because they're in a better position to do it.
Hey, but you were saying,
I'm just saying sometimes we rely too much on it.
Yeah, I understand that.
Isn't what you brought up originally, brought this camarada stuff up, was about camaradas being camaradas when we've been there and not out here. What you were just saying is that you felt that they
no percent. That's when he's
make themselves available. Just make themselves available. That's all you were saying.
That's he's just telling you percentage.
Instead of having to go look for them, they're supposed to make themselves available, right?
No, he's just talking percentage.
Exactly. I mean, if they're with the cause, what's up, Bernie? Here's my number.
Here I am.
Yeah, here's my number. That's what I'm
We
saying.
got carnales like that. In there, man, que viva laeme, que pasa el tubo y pasa los dulces y activo con la cantina and all that. And as soon as they come out here, you don't see them. You know, we got carnales like that.
Yeah, they don't.
This whole room should be packed right here. You know? Standing
I can only
room,
speak for myself, you know what I mean?
I didn't even know.
Well, I'm just saying there's brothers that like that out here.
I hear you.
There's a bunch of them in there.
Perfect, you know what I mean? And not
There's a bunch of them in there too.
Well, the ones that knew got me here.
Well, that's the way it's supposed
It was
to
sort of like a kidnap, actually.
That's the way it's supposed to be, huh?
What's that?
I contact you, and if I can't contact another brother, maybe you can
Yeah, so
contact.
back to the thing. You're always incognito on the call. That's how I was asking you about that. I'm
No,
gonna talk to
if
you.
if the answer machine is on, Holmes, you wait until the bees and
I'll
say,
start
Truco,
talking, yeah.
pick up. I'll pick the motherfucker.
Okay, that's what I'm gonna say. That's why I'm asking.
See, I got a baby that's 2 months old, Holmes, and the phone only goes to that right there.
Hey, I understand.
So
That's why I
only
asked
ring
you.
twice, and I got the phone in the dining room or the family room.
That's why I was
dining
asking.
room.
That's why I asked you
Ring.
when I got here. I said, hey, if I start talking into the machine, will you pick it up? And you said, yeah.
I am totally annoyed with Gibby. Nonsensical, non-productive conversation. But Shai was talking about non-productive carnales and camaradas, and that's the truth. There are a lot of carnales who are lords of discipline in prison. They're all with the business, doing 1,000 burpees at a pop, wanting to have everybody whacked. They want TV, they want their luxury, they want to be treated like royalty. But when they get out on the streets, what do? Stick a needle in their arm, disappear, don't arrive to the juntas, nothing. They're just carnales in name only. And there's camaradas that way. I think Pee Wee hit on that earlier as well, that some camaradas are all about it when they're there, but when they get out, they're gone. Those are really the smart ones, if you look at it, right? Those are the smart guys that remove themselves from it. They do what they do to survive, if that's what they call it, and then they're gone. That's their decision. They want to separate themselves, which is an intelligent move on my part. That's what I believe.
Up until right now, every time that answering machine comes on, I hang up. I forget.
Well, I never answer it then.
Huh? I understand that. You know what I mean? I'm saying now we're. We understand.
You know, and my housekeeper don't speak, no English.
No speaking.
It's very, very broken.
So I speak Spanish. Rather fluent.
He a pretty motherfucker.
Is he?
Oh, dude?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was
He
right.
got colored eyes, like skin.
There you go.
Long girl, man. Yeah. Old habits die hard.
I thought it was your brother.
Yeah. No, he's a Christian. He's a Christian.
Hey, can we, hey, Chuko, whose name is this room under?
Mine. Don't fuck that
I was
shit.
thinking about taking a screwdriver to it. I need one, man.
An alarm will go off and be a
Fucking fire.
You hear that? Gibby wants to steal the TV. That's the type of guy he is, right? I think he's showing himself. He's coming in a beanie, a slingshot, the little elastic cholo belt. But that's the guy. He was always low budget. He was never about the business. Like I said, I don't know how that guy got initiated in the organization. I don't know how he got inducted, right? It must have been on a whim or something. I can't even remember the vote going up. But he got in. And immediately after his induction, he flipped once he paroled. He got pulled over with a marijuana plant in the back of his car, and he flipped. He never testified. He refused to testify, but he was an informant. In fact, he's an acting informant here. He's an informant for law enforcement that doesn't know about Chuco being a FBI informant. Neither know of the other, but Gibby was giving up information on the organization.
Fucking fire.
Yeah. I need a clock radio too.
No, don't you damn it. They have the police in my fucking door, knocking on the door.
I just paroled.
Fucking sheriff's too. Fucking sheriff's right there. Shit.
I know, right there, right across the street.
You
Jesus.
better do this shit right under the nose.
Jesus. He like good shit, man.
What time is it, man?
The alcohol one?
8:45.
15 on 9 almost.
El tema de eso. Right to use that Tortugas pen.
Hey, Chu. You fucking better, man.
Is this a hot one?
No, I got it hooked up with you.
Yeah, I ain't too. I
got it hooked up under a different name.
I got my legal now.
So I got some project. This project goes up to visit.
You're legal too?
Nah, I ain't fucking with it right now.
I don't.
This project goes up to visit. What's it? She turned it off for me. She just brings me the bill.
Yeah, as long as you got good credit or any kind of credit, they'll turn it on. You got shitty credit, you
I don't have no credit.
How much does it cost to hook it up legally when they charge?
You're running about $200.
That cost me $192.
Much is your bill though?
For the phone and to hook it up. You know, because they waived the $50 hookup fee.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. I got it. I did. It was a special.
How much is a bill? It varies.
My last bill was $103.
That's it? That's good. Mine runs about 160, 170.
But see, I don't use it.
So they're involved in a lot of small talk while they're waiting for Turtle and I just forgot the other name that was supposed to show up. Sorry about that, folks. A little foggy today. But it's a lot of small talk. Remember that we're talking about Maravillas, how some were opposed and some weren't, and the hazard conflict, and Smilon being upset because he wasn't making money out of his hood. We're going to continue with this topic now. In the frame, that when I open up, you're going to see China Boy sitting down on the bed and Chuco Castro standing up. Weddle Shai is laying in the bed directly in front of Chuco and carrying on most of the conversation. Let's get straight to it. Here we go.
Sometimes I go all day without using it.
Yeah, you got me.
And I don't let nobody call me. I leave it off, you know, I just use it when somebody beefs me or something like that.
Hey, my kids got
Like today, I'm gonna get a big phone bill. Calling him about 20 times, calling him.
Yeah, but that was 6:30.
Calling Shake and fucking, they had it off the hook.
Fucking dollar ain't
I
gone.
still got a drive stand table in there.
If I can't
You got patch number
Hey,
one?
won't let me take the TV. I'm taking the TV.
check it out, check it out.
And he's been wanting to take the TV, the clock radio with the FBI camera on it. That's when he walked towards it earlier in the video, wanted to take it. But it kind of shows his mentality, right? it's kind of a reflection of the guy.
Won't let me take a TV. I'm taking it.
Hey, check it out. They killed Tony's car.
What?
They did a drive-by on his car.
Seriously?
Fucking Noel, yeah.
Who did?
From another group down the bottom.
Sereno.
Well.
Yeah, homeboys.
Oh, well.
Why?
Did they have a green light on one time?
See, I don't know what's going on. You guys, you know, you're talking about.
So this is very interesting. They're talking about Tony Rodriguez and the Lowell conflict, and that they just shot up his car, that they killed his car. This is the initial starting of the conflict between Tonito Rodriguez and his own homeboys, and ultimately results in his elimination.
You're from Lock Street, huh?
Yeah.
What happened, President? Why
They shot up his car, dude.
why?
The red
They're not
one.
with us?
The black one, no?
They're rats.
They're for blue and a half.
All locked up when they get busted.
So they're not.
Rocco got killed.
Careful.
Oh, yeah.
That Charlie, when I came out to throw my trash out, they came out with machine guns to get me. Noel. See, I came out with chanclas and a beanie and shorts to throw my trash out. I swear to God, it was no bigger than this.
They hit the trash can?
Nah, I seen that motherfucker, the trash can flew this way, my chanclas flew that way, and I was that way. Shit. I ain't Superman, shit. Fuck that shit.
So this started the initial conflict. Individuals from Lowell went to Ernie Castro's house. He's describing the incident, and they pulled out automatic weapons on him. Ernie Castro ran into the house, retrieved a weapon, and ran back outside, and they were gone. But this resulted in them getting a green light placed on them in the first place.
Couldn't have caught you that day.
And the motherfuckers. I came flying out with a cool back with weapons, but I was too late.
I got it somewhere at the Patty, give it to me, but I can't find it, man. See, I went to Mexico last weekend. I went to Rosarito.
Let me put a caveat on that. In fact, one of the individuals responsible for that was Flaco from Lowell, I believe. If my memory serves correct, he was eliminated in the county jail during a short stint that he did there. They discovered that he was there and sent the order out, and he was promptly eliminated. If memory serves correct. It's been a lot of years.
Rosarito?
Yeah.
I've been there.
And,
Nice, huh?
and I was going to get a hold of him and visit him down there, but I couldn't find him.
He busted?
He's
busted.
Do we have a
That is?
Yeah.
Isn't there a problem?
He's torcido.
Yeah.
These guys
It's okay.
What's happening with you over there, Carlos?
Huh?
You sitting over there half asleep.
No,
You
I
didn't even
just-
say hi to me when you came
No,
out.
yeah.
I was trying to call you, man.
Yeah.
I went down there looking for you one day.
You got busted,
The pad was
Who
all
got busted?
boarded up.
A couple of weeks ago, huh?
Who got arrested?
Bat.
Oh, is that right? For what?
Oh, I told you. What the?
Oh, man. They're gonna stretch him out, huh?
He's already in San Diego. He's already in San Diego joint.
Oh, he's locked up right now?
No, they're gonna let him go.
No, he's arrested. He's arrested.
They're speaking of Bat Marquez at his initial arrest for a firearm.
I don't know.
He got a projo.
Huh? Projo?
Yeah, projo.
That's what he'll put that 3 strikes on him.
They are. Everybody.
It depends how they found it. If it's any way that right here in back of the.
But a gun charge is a gun charge. Ex-con with a gun.
Hey, Carlos, you still got that 67 though?
Yeah, talk to people.
Yeah.
Talk to a little man about it. He got out of the fucking 3-4 times.
You gonna paint it?
Yeah. Pelon said that El Gato called him and said Sana and drove up.
Where's
Oh
that?
yeah, that's right.
Where's that at?
He got
How much
he's
did
got
Gato
on
get?
reversal.
How much did Gato get?
He's got 6 years, or 8.
Who got 8 years?
11 more. Sana.
So you said Gato, I thought Gato got all kinds of time.
I thought he got 6.
He got a prison.
I got 7.
They traded for the 61.
Yeah, that's why he's coming down.
67.
And he's still taking
Yeah,
the
I just.
I had a 61. I traded for 67.
Who's that? I'm walking out of
I
this.
got a truck right now.
Weird.
50.
You got
50? You do it up?
I'm walking in here with
I'm gonna fix it up and see.
Hey, I like this. You know what?
No, right now what I was trying to do, it was start with the younger homeboys and everybody to respect each other and trying to make them strong since they're young, eh? So like that, things won't get out of hand.
China Boy's starting to get into the conflict between him and Negro. There was a huge conflict in Artisia. China Boy felt that Negro was encroaching on his territory, and Negro felt he was being prohibited from doing business. In fact, it got so bad that I believe in one instance, members of Negro's crew went to a location where China Boy's crew was and pulled out guns. And they may have also exchanged gunfire in this incident. We're going to listen to this and kind of unpack it as it goes.
Enforce that.
Right. I went down there to see the other day. I wanted to give you some of that kid.
Assume the position.
And I got it. I couldn't find it.
Yeah, I want this.
No. Maybe the next couple of days I'll get a warrant. So I can start.
As long as you don't take the TV or the coffee maker or something like that, or that big mirror.
I don't want to pay you.
I could use that. I'm on at least bed's fine for you.
No, that's a cheap fucking.
I'm in Motel 6 right now. That's why I'm all like, not big.
You want some coffee? There's some coffee, huh?
Yeah, I'm right there. Wait, the park. We did right there or something.
He's right there. Hey, Chuck, I left him right there where we meet all the time.
Oh, okay. Well, we need all the brothers are together right here. What we need. Somebody that has connection that could buy a case or what do they call it, a keg of guns. They come with about a crate. Yeah, a crate of guns. They come with 20 guns.
Well, whatever.
15 or 20 guns.
Any kind of gun?
10 or 15 doesn't matter.
Any kind of gun?
No, 9s are better.
I need a gun with sight.
How much does it cost?
This is adequate.
Oh, we'll put the money together. We need
weapons.
Yeah.
Wedo Shai just said, I need a gun with a silencer. And this is an important phrase. Remember that phrase. I need a gun with a silencer.
But Marcos.
Anybody that can get them. We need guns.
Who's got a gun with a silencer right now?
The last one I was bragging about that was Puppets. Remember? He said he had a machine gun. And there's word. I got word from Pac and Bay. You know what he's saying? That the brothers out here were hiding from him.
Chuco just mentioned Puppet Martinez, who's up in ADX in Florence. He had a conflict with Chuco, Puppet, and Chuco had deep conflict. In fact, Puppet called him out, put on a bulletproof vest, got a 9mm hand grenade, and waited for Chuco in 18th Street. He was promptly arrested after that. He called Chuco an informant long before anybody even knew it. He knew something was wrong. He called it, and he called Chuco out because Chuco, Pee-wee, and Smilone were attempting to encroach on his territory, 18th Street, and Puppet wasn't having it. So let's delve into this video a little bit more.
I don't even pay attention to all that bullshit anymore. Hey, you know that? I don't know if you ever heard of this brother named Dito from Monte Hicks.
Who? Okay, this is important because we're going to segue into a whole different series of videos, but this is the important inception of the conspiracy to eliminate Dido from Monte, and this resulted in the Maxim Road massacre. If all you guys are history buffs and you know any history about the organization, that was a black eye to the organization and was really a bungled hit, and this is where it starts right here.
Dido or Dino?
Dito. He dropped out a long time ago. Anyway, where I was living over in the apartments before I moved, the motherfucker was living right downstairs, man. In an apartment, and he never came up. well, after I moved, and he started showing his face, and somebody seen him and told me about it. So, but there's all kinds of people in the pad. There's a whole bunch of youngsters and kids and all kinds of shit. So I gotta figure out how to, I need a silencer is what I need.
You know what, I gotta,
and then that Duke, he's hanging around with that Duke Rosito from Norwalk.
So let's stop it right there. For all those that have laid the blame on Shy for the elimination of children, he's specifically pointing out that there's children there, and in another video, I think, or this one, not sure which one, but he'll go into it that all they want to do is eliminate the one guy Dido and nobody else. But he makes it a point to say that there's children there, because even though I've not spoken to Shy in 20-something years, I know in my heart that he would never take part in harming children. Nobody in that room would. No member that I ever knew would condone that. It just wouldn't be condoned by the organization. But I get it that because he called a shot, people think he's responsible for it. But I don't agree. I don't agree with that. I think that he set up a legitimate organizational elimination. The adults were viable targets. But we'll get into that into the Maxim Road massacre episode that I'm going to be doing in the very near future. Let's unpack this video a little bit further.
Yeah, I know that. He's hanging around with Crucico in Norwalk.
Little rat. Yeah.
They're both there hanging
That's
around.
what he lives at, in Monte.
Note that Chuco moved all objects away from the pinhole camera. He casually went over there and moved the can to the side, and he's giving it a clear view. That's Shy right here, laying on the bed. You can see his feet and his legs. That's China Boy Arias, or Juan Carlos Arias, and that's Ernie Castro. That's Champ Mendez. And Gibby's just looking for something to steal around the hotel room.
the thing is, they gotta get the
Yeah, but see, now I just want to kill him. There's kids.
Right there. I just want to kill him. There's kids in there. He makes it very clear that he doesn't want the children hurt. So for all the doubters and the naysayers and the people that attempt to blame him for that, and I'm not defending him by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just saying this is the real. None of those guys in that room would kill kids, would eliminate kids. So I think this video clearly establishes that he was opposed to that.
But they cut you loose that day,
whatever it takes.
The guy that whatever. You can get his time?
Tony.
Yeah.
How much are you willing to pay for this?
For what, no?
20.
Depending on the quality of the cuete, you know, name brand. And after that, it really doesn't matter. 200, 250 for each gun, 300.
What happened to that? The hijack the whole truck or something. What happened to what? Fizzled out.
You want to see no low?
Yeah.
You can get them.
We'll buy 20 right now, huh?
Let me call him. I'll call him up tomorrow. I'll talk to him.
I think I misidentified Shy. I don't think this is Shy. I think Shy just got up and walked out of the room.
See if he can give me a throwaway silencer también.
We'll keep them
Try
up
and get
for
two of them.
Throwaway.
I'll keep it.
There's some good ones. There's some good ones. And then there's some
Oh yeah, okay.
Do they come with what kind of gun they going on, Mike?
It's just like the
It varies, huh? You can put it just about anything.
I only got a 357 or 380.
Bullshit, you know what I mean? It costs too much, you gotta be for a certain gun.
Yeah.
You gotta be a certain, you gotta be for a shooting, you know? It had to be a certain gun. So if it's for a 45 or something like that, he can get them, but...
Dude, this thing's too loud,
You
huh?
can go buy at the store.
I'll show you how to.
No,
Oh yeah,
have
yeah.
magazines in
But
there.
for a silencer?
Yeah, how to.
That's Sammy Villalba exiting the room.
See, I wouldn't
As
want to
long
buy
as it
them.
fits and shoots, I'm happy. You know what I mean? A little quieter will help. You know what I mean?
I saw one to hazard. and it blew up on him.
No, but you know what I mean?
Boom!
They trace that. Like when you buy the how-to weapon books, they trace them. You know what I mean? Like, say for example, you buy a how to make plastic explosives in the kitchen sink. You know what I mean? If you know, I'm just speaking hypothetically here, and say for example, shit starts blowing up in the area, they can trace that. They say, well, this guy bought a book in this area. You know?
That is Sammy right behind Ernie Castro, and Shy right behind him.
So you know, when you buy things like that,
on record?
Yeah. You know, how-to books is not, they're good, but just buy them in someone else's name in a different city, not traceable to you.
What happened to that 45 that I got? Yeah, I know. And we gave it to your primo, remember? We lost all of them, man.
So who drove up? If anybody asked?
How much would you say right now you're willing to buy 20 of them? How much is it going to cost for the 20 quid? And what kind of it?
900.
How much is it going to cost?
So see, if we're going to buy that many, we're going to break it down to about $200.
40 bucks a
$170. Yeah.
Where's he living?
170. We're going to buy that many. Because it's too much.
Then,
You go in there, they cost $400 or $500 each weapon.
He got some big, I don't got no more.
something, but when you get them like that, you come down.
I figured 200 is
Go
good.
down that much? $20 a piece?
Oh, no, I'm talking 200.
Oh, 200.
250,
I know, they took all my paperwork.
So let's say, what's that, 20 times 250, what's that?
900.
Right.
Was that 2,000?
No.
That's 10, 2,000, 4,000.
4,000?
4,000.
At 200 a piece?
That's 200 a piece.
20?
250 is
250 is 5,000. So
Definitely not math experts.
try to
Who
make
happened to
it at 4.
He's still there. He'll get out.
Well, they gotta be, you know,
9 days?
name, but you know more or less about
Berettas
questions.
or fucking, or brownies or Rugers or something like that.
What about those
You know Little
gloves?
Negro?
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
What?
Yeah, fuck beautiful.
Good?
Yeah,
Negrito.
blocks are beautiful.
Yeah, because I think those gloves are cheaper. But I'm just saying,
rat.
but
Oh, they're not fucking cheap.
tickets are cheap. I think
Hey, these things are bad.
Shit, blocks cost about $400 or $500 now.
Yeah, give him HK or
Shit, HK cost fucking $1,000. The Walkers?
How long we gonna get these bottles to show up?
No, you just give it to him.
Just gonna give him about another 15 minutes.
Did give him a pass.
I got a quete, I put it in my fucking engine and fucking drove in the freeway.
Yeah, he ran it.
Whole year.
No, it wasn't.
$1,000 quete.
He should have.
Nobody.
Fucking million pieces.
What gangster?
I put the motherfucker, I pulled over on the freeway, ran back and ran in the fucking, the second to the fastest lane. Crazy little motherfucker. I keep the custodian in the back. Fucking million pieces. Fuck that off. If you want in on that, that's how much it's gonna cost. As many as you want.
Well, how many hours you talking about all of us going in together, right?
Yeah, he got beat up and now fights probably good because he
I'll get it.
How much is it gonna cost you for each bottle?
It depends on how many bottles you put in it.
You see like 1, 2, 3, 4 so far.
He was telling me about that.
1,000 each.
Oh, no, I mentioned it. Ethan was there.
it'd be what? 5 questions each?
But he said that the reason why I do from Portland.
Two, four.
You go to a gun store, homes in the price ones, you go to 5, 600. Blocks are fucking beautiful.
Not only that, huh? There's a motherfucker trying to get acquitted now.
All of my outfits.
Is it free? I guess he takes out
Riots,
the big nigga.
he took thousands of questions in riots. There was a clique of Crips.
Chili Willy.
There was 4 of them, maybe 5. They were going inside gun stores, and under 1 minute they were stealing all 9s. Under a minute. 2 of them will walk in. 2 of them will walk in behind them. The first 2 will take the 2 dudes that are working there. The next 2 will duffel bags, load it up under a minute, and gone. That would take about 10, 20, 25 questions at a
I
time.
met him on the drain.
Stupid, cold-hearted girl.
I met him in the drain.
Did it about 5 or 6 times.
Hey, you know what's doing is Speedy from 18th Street?
No, he's saying his brother though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you heard that too?
You know,
Well, they're supposed to take care of
that's my neighbor.
Yeah.
You remember we were me and Caballo were selling
Yeah,
my neighbor?
I was gonna say, is he
I know.
young at light
He was the one that was.
Did you ever get a hold of him?
Yeah, that
Get a hold of
Fuck that bastard.
Nah, I'm trying to get a hold of his brother though.
Because he got at me again and said that, yeah, real important that you get it. I gave you all his address, didn't I?
They got into Speedy from 18th Street, claiming to be a carnal and saying he's no good. They were also discussing a large amount of firearms and splitting the cost between 4 members. But I think the most important part of that video to take away today is that this is where the conspiracy started for the Maxim Road massacre. And I want to let everybody know on these episodes and the videos you see and the audio you hear, if you want to hear them unedited and in their entirety, you can do so on Patreon. Go to my Patreon, Enriquez Uncensored, and join there, and you can listen to them without my editing, without graphics. You're just going to see the raw audio and video there. So you're welcome to do that. I think we left off last time. They were talking about an individual from 18th Street. They were talking about purchasing guns, and I think the most important takeaway we had in that last segment was that Shy started discussing the Maxim Road massacre. This is where the conspiracy started to gel. And we're going to pick up right where we left off. Let's start that audio now. I'll break it down for you as we go along.
Right?
No.
He was supposed to stab somebody in the yard for a
Anyway, they're supposed to be to these vatos from down there in San Fernando Valley. They're supposed to be taking care of me today, man.
He's not from.
Well, he's down there collecting feria and saying he's a carnal. So I told him to take care of him.
Speedy for us. They got him?
Yeah, we were there in Tehachapi, remember?
You know what? Same one.
Is he young?
So they're talking about Speedy, I believe, from 18th Street. They're talking about eliminating him right here, that the individuals from San Fernando Valley are supposed to take care of it, and that's in the mix now.
He's young, light skinned with tattoos?
Yeah, no.
I don't know what he look like. I just know we ain't got no carnal.
That's the same one. That's the same one, mean. Light with tattoos?
His hair back.
He's young, right?
Wasn't his last name Gonzalez too? But, he was my neighbor for a while. It wasn't but that's Caballo's last name. Because you moved in with Caballo, huh? And that motherfucker was your neighbor then, huh? Him and Chato from 18th Street, they were salads.
So Puppet wanted me to come.
That's the one.
Yeah, it's the same one.
Yeah, so we can deal with it.
Because I heard him doing that. I got word that he did that. He's a piece of shit. He locked up.
I ran it by. Hey, Nego, remember right before me and you got arrested?
The dude George called me the other day, man.
I told you that Puppet had called me and told me that Speedy had told him that I had sent Speedy to kill him.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
I think that's Speedy.
That's the same one, but he's bullshit. He's bullshit.
Remember I was telling you about that? Did Puppet want me to come to the weekend?
And then,
you remember?
there's another guy from Southside Whittier. I'm trying to think of his name.
I got one.
God damn it, what the hell is his name? Who? He was going around collecting, and he, from State, who knows who's familiar with State Street? Chuco? What? State Street? They said that I went over there and collected $25,000 in drogas.
Jesus, we have some.
Where is it at?
I don't even think
We have some.
We used to have them a long time ago, but they stopped paying them.
You know what they said? I went over there and collected $25,000 and drogas.
They paid it out for a long time.
That's how you bought that truck, huh?
The old motherfuckers.
Much as the time again, there's about 100 of them.
Yeah, more.
So what they're talking about is a rash of individuals taxing in the name of the Mexican Mafia. That's what Speedy from 18th Street doing. They're talking about another individual that's claiming that they paid, I think that's Negro speaking. I could be mistaken. Off to the left of the shot here from the camera, he's talking about $25,000 that are claiming that were paid to him.
It was around back then.
State? Oh, 60's old. This is right. Yeah. In fact, I've never known a motherfucker under 60 years old from State Street.
About 100, though.
We had a couple of carnales from State Street.
Oh, really?
Bob Steele.
Right down Bow Heights, huh?
Yeah, State Street. Bob Steele was from State Street. I think Bob is carnal Bago. No,
¿Qué pasa con ese caballo? Ya estuvo.
Pura papeles.
Bago died, and Bob Steele locked up in the bed.
That was a blast from the past. Widow Shy mentioned Bob Steele from State Street. I believe I have a graphic of him. If not, we can post it on Patreon and let you see it. But that is the wonderful thing about Shy. He's filled with history. He's filled with all these anecdotes, all these stories about different carnales where they locked up. And you hear him, he's just a font of information. It's always, you get kind of a kick listening to Shy, because he's like the recorder of history there.
You know, got him. You ain't gonna set him.
I thought they had cleared him. You know, I thought they cleared him.
Maybe the
Now the AB's
John Stenson.
Oh yeah, ain't nothing happened on that.
John Stenson ain't gonna say nothing.
As a matter of fact,
he's got too much heat anyway. Whatever he sends is gonna get traced to whoever gets it.
Luca keeps calling, you know. She wants us to send somebody down there, and I told him, no. You said that John has that. You said you're gonna get it. So,
hey, be careful.
So that is Champ Mendez talking about John Stinson's wife, Deborah, wanting them to go pick up transcripts. And Champ is refusing, saying, no, you said you were going to get that. And we're going through that conversation now.
Fix that, man. Send it to a third person.
no, it's not coming to me, but I'm just saying that they're not gonna get it.
They don't have it.
So where we
Well, the brothers up there would have had him, huh?
So,
it'd be a lot easier to do it that
yeah. So where do we go from here? We just take care of that Gabacho? Has he called you? Has he called you?
What Gabacho's that?
Slow.
So what about, he's the one who's opening the account?
Yeah, he's the one that's out.
Pushing it?
Yeah,
And we know where he's at?
he's staying in Riverside now. Nobody knows exactly where he's at. He's staying in Riverside.
So they're talking about Slocum. They're talking about eliminating Slocum at the request of John Stinson. They're not receiving the paperwork that was mentioned, and they're debating whether to take care of him. They've ID'd him and know his location in Riverside, California.
You get him to John's Laeme or?
You know what? He ain't nothing. You just put it.
Hey, but John's pushing it through Slocum.
Oh yeah. Well, we had do this the last time, right? The last one?
Like a motherfucker.
We already do that. But still, the other ones get in run them out like that, they're fucking up.
Just because Guante's crying or something?
They're gonna fade in the background just like the judge. They got no
They could have took the cargo for one.
And because
they was hoping they could suck this one doing something.
They're through anyways, huh? What's about 10 of them left? And they're fighting each other?
So you hear Chuco and Gibby in the background talking about the Aryan Brotherhood, and you hear Chuco make a derogatory comment about the Aryan Brotherhood. He says, F them. Gibby pipes in that they're through anyways, that there's only 10 of them left. And that's never really been the relationship with the organization and the Aryan Brotherhood. As long as I've been around, there has been some tension and there has been conflict with the Aryan Brotherhood, but it's always been quelled due to the long-standing historic relationship that the Mexican Mafia fostered with them. I mean, there's some good guys in the brand that I knew. There were always the level-headed guys. Of course, there are hot-headed individuals in both organizations that always were raring for conflict. Some of that came to a head in Pelican Bay. Some of it came to a head in Los Angeles County Jail. But since that period in time, the organizations live in relative harmony. But there are, you see Chuco right there voicing his opposition to the brand. And I had never heard that before, him speak negatively of the brand.
Talk to some of the gente I knew. We went to let go.
That's China Boy speaking now to the right of the camera.
Pero yes,
Yeah, I get more things. We'll get to that, dude.
Trying to work with them right now. Catching up with them and
No, well, I talked to Tortuga's mom.
How much do they want?
No, doesn't Randy have?
I want like
Yeah, I called the picture and he don't answer that.
Who's that? They probably all pushing around.
Even five.
It don't take that long.
Two is too short.
There's not that much traffic.
It took me about 10 minutes to get a table with that.
You need to move two.
Now going
You
west.
take the freeway, don't make no money.
Did it?
You gotta move the
I did.
Go put them in.
I don't even know how to get it on the side street.
Do like call the do like that.
She said that she
Smart for to get it work.
Tortuga told me.
So fed up.
Everybody down there working.
Yeah, so last week was
Yeah.
This is our limit, and we look for them. And let them keep it for the back. You know what I mean?
He was in the back.
That way, everybody got something. I got pretty much only, so, I don't.
We just missed that accident.
So the conversation with China Boy and Perico is very low toned. I can't discern what they're saying, but they're talking about paisas distributing marijuana for them, and Perico wants to know how much weight can they move. Otherwise, it's not worth it, right? And then the rest is being drowned out by the subsequent conversation happening to the left.
Well, hey, what's happening down that way? I gotta go down that way.
Accidents.
Because I'm going to San Diego tonight, man. After I leave.
It's drying up right now.
But what about it? Is the traffic died out?
Southbound, northbound,
Going that way is fast.
Going towards Rose. Because they've got part of it closed over there. Over there by Carnales or something.
Well, see, from here, I'm going to go to the pad and pick up my son. And then I'm going to I got to go all the way home.
That was Tonito Rodriguez, down deceased, killed by Sereno some years back. They got up from the bed and left the room.
And then come all the way back.
As a matter of fact, you know, Mike, remember we were coming on to Santana and it was all the way to San Diego, it was blocked. And the off ramp to the right. Yeah, right to Santana, it's blocked all the way.
All the way.
Tonito just sat back down on the bed again.
Where is San Diego?
405, I don't know, it's the way, probably all the way to the 405. Because it merges with the 405 over there by Lake Forest.
Angle anymore.
So where you at now? Over there in Woodland?
Yeah, you can
I
take,
broke down there today.
yeah, you could take the 91 and then cut on the 15 and then take the 15 all the way
It broke down right there on the
San
corner from me. I was gonna walk over there, but I was like, who got all over the fucking place? So I just said,
Yeah, but it-
I don't know. I just stood there, called on the phone and said, come and get me. Told me, man. Yeah. Yeah, I just got that fucking pain too.
But that traffic, by the time I get ready to go, that traffic might be died down.
You might be dead, yeah.
Because I won't be leaving.
Yeah, it's too late already.
And then we went back to a little party over there in the apartments, right?
Then you got blowed out.
And 91 to the 15.
I drank a
Where's that, 91 West? To the, no, 91
East.
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 91 East to the
Wherever she is, yeah,
15
get to
south.
the
If you're going to San Diego.
Let's take the 15 south.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're going to San Diego. North is Vegas, Barstow, Iraq.
the 91 and no.
Obviously, they're not talking about anything exciting. But if we skip ahead, we might miss something juicy. So let's hear it out. What Shy's getting directions to San Diego right now. This is the mundane mob talk right now.
In Hamilton, we're looking at 14 years.
Just run it, stretch it.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, is this regularly scheduled or special for
91 West.
The next one will be the end of the month.
I'll try that a bit on bond too.
The end of the month.
All that stuff, just run it.
See what happened here. Might have dismissed
No, the way it works, he knows it. They have to come up with something different. Something more than they had before. You know? Solid.
But see, the only thing is they could say that the Huda just has to say they have it and make you go through the whole formality again, and then make your lawyer work it and make sure that they ain't got nothing different and show that they don't got nothing different and kick it out again. That's what my job, that's my lawyer has to do. They know, he knows the Huda knows the personal thing. The Huda knows the time, make him spend money, make him break him. Use my mom, try to plea bargain, take. They already did that once. It takes 7 years. It takes 7 years. My lawyer already worked out a deal for a county lid. And the next time I went back, said 7 years. I said, we talking county lid now 7 years. What they got that they didn't have last time, They said nothing.
That's Pee Wee speaking out of camera shot. I think he was first talking about affidavits for wiretaps, that they have to have something new. Every 30 days you have to renew a wiretap. And you need new evidence to convince a judge that there's criminal activity occurring on that phone. So they have to be able to provide that information to a judge and renew that affidavit every 30 days for a wiretap order.
Just putting pressure on the hardball.
Different DA.
Who's got?
Already about three different DAs there.
I got the fucking high profile fucking DA.
There ain't no special prosecutor or nothing like that.
I got fucking the dude that had the Heidi Price. I got Carter. He's a fucking fat fucking pig bitch motherfucker.
Chuco's talking about my prosecutor. He was the organized crime anti-terrorist unit in Los Angeles County District Attorneys. Carter, he's actually also a death penalty attorney for the district attorneys, or was. And you hear Chuco Castro talking bad about him right now, but I remember him specifically. I met that gentleman when he was prosecuting me back in the day, probably over 36 years ago or so, 35 years ago.
Go back to 30th.
How's it look?
How's it look?
I don't know. They had a search warrant. I think thinking that a search warrant went in the pad found guns.
So they found them under the bed.
Yeah, the thing were under the house.
They went in there
benefit.
for guns? They went in there looking for guns? Or
Looking for guns and ammo. They didn't find nothing in the pad.
That was the purpose of the search warrant.
They didn't find nothing in the pad. They found it underneath the house. And
It's on the property.
I just moved in 8 days before.
Oh, well, that's but if it's on the property.
Did you fingerprint the witness?
No fingerprints of mine came out.
Here, move this one.
So what Chuco's speaking about is this is the catalyst that convinced him to drop out. Richard Valdemar and the Violent Crimes Task Force. It's actually the Los Angeles Metropolitan Task Force on Violent Crime, which is the Mexican Mafia Task Force, served a search warrant on his home. He was renting an apartment. He had some guns under the house. I think there was like $30,000 in cash. They served the search warrant and told Chuco he was going to probably go away for the rest of his life. It was right then and there that Chuco made the decision to flip. And that's why you're seeing these videos today. This is the first individual that brought about investigation by the feds into the organization. So really you're seeing this historic footage. This is historic footage. There have been multiple federal investigations and indictments since then, but none like this one. This was a massive investigation. 13 members were indicted, and it took a couple of years. And it was the instance that Chuco's talking about in this very clip that brought him to the point where he decided he was going to defect from the organization. Excuse me. And you have to admit, he plays this role really well. Chuco fit right into this. He acted into it. He still carried himself as a mobster. He still had palabra or juice and word in the organization. He's well respected. And you see him from time to time, people get in front of the camera or they'll play something in front of the camera, he'll move it. And it reminds me of Gibby in the last clip talking about stealing the clock radio. Gibby's the guy running around, eating chips, double dipping. Yeah, he's double dipping. Yep, these stuff are that. I agree with all the commenters in the videos with this guy double dipping. And he's annoying. He's an annoying little weasel, right? I mean, who comes to a mob meeting in a slingshot and a beanie, right? And an elastic cholo belt? Gibby does. So even when Gibby starts talking about stealing the clock radio and advances towards it, Chuco stops him immediately, like, no. He fit into this role perfectly, and it looks like he's not even nervous. He's grew into his skin as an informant, and he's conducting himself well. We'll finish this off right now.
How'd they get the search warrant?
Someone had to swear.
Some confidential informant.
And has it. And has it. Check that. I took my car, the little blue car, never took that motherfucking hazard in my life. I took it in hazard, went in my waistband, put it in the dash. No, went in the dash, put it into my waist, put something in my waistband, walked in hazard, walked back, took the gun out. No, what resembled to be a gun. Put it back in the dash.
So you hear Chuco telling about probable cause for the search warrant on his house, which is they witnessed him in hazard projects in his blue car, extracting a gun from the car, putting it in his waistband. That was the justifiable cause for a search warrant to be signed on his residence, where they found the weapons and Chuco flipped. You were listening to Chuco speak about justification for the search warrant, how it came about, what they found in his residence. And again, if for anybody who hasn't seen the previous clips, this is the reason that Chuco flipped. When they searched his house, they found weapons, ammunition, and cash, and he was facing a significant sentence of ex-con with a gun, possibly third striker, and they convinced him to roll. And he did. And Chuco became probably the most significant informant in the organization's history. And here he is in that gray jumpsuit in the center of the frame that I'm going to run right now, acting in the capacity of an informant and a Mexican Mafia member during this hotel meeting. Here we go. Let's run the video.
Okay, they stopped me to the car park. With that information, just signing the bullets, the fucking judge signed a fucking search warrant in my house for ammo, any gun paraphernalia, drugs. They didn't find nothing until they went underneath the house.
They found the weapons in the car? Oh, I thought you said
Under the house, 2 bullets.
Oh, 2 bullets.
Okay.
We're telling them.
Confidential informant.
Yeah, well, we're proving 1538.5 express a search warrant on the guy never saw a gun.
How much was
He never saw me put a gun. He said he saw me put something.
Is this a Buddha saying he saw that? Or is this
No, on
just
the
some
informant telling the Buddha.
Have you guys brought him forward to
In camera, that's how I beat mine. That's how I beat mine. I got the motion at the pads, expensive motion. Dismissed.
I got my 995. Okay, and then my revealing the informant.
Right, revealing
in camera area, which follows. But it's 81 for revealing the informant.
So you hear Chuco throwing around some numbers, right? The first one is 1538.5. That's a motion to suppress under CRC, the California Rules of Criminal Procedure. And the next one is a 995. The 995 is a motion to dismiss, right, under the California Rules of Criminal Procedure. That's what he's discussing now, some legal tactics that his attorney's using in court. But the reality is none of this is occurring, that he is not filing motions to suppress. He's not filing a motion to dismiss because he's cooperating with the FBI. Chuco Castro is what is known as a CHS, a confidential human source. There are 3 types of sources. There's a contractor, there's an informant, and there's like kind of an analyst of what I do, right? But there's also the witness, right? There's a witness. That's the third one, right? So Chuco's acting as an operative informant, hand over fist informant, providing information to the FBI. So there's no need for him to file a 1538.5 under the California Rules of Criminal Procedure or a 995, which is a motion to dismiss. The other one is to 1538 8.5 is motion to suppress evidence, right? Because he's already cooperating. The deal is already on the table. He's already had his queen for a day proper session. When you meet with the United States attorneys and the FBI or federal agencies that are interviewing you, you go to a thing called, it's an interview, right? A debriefing. And it's called a proffer session. Proffer, I believe it's spelled. It could be Profer. And they grant you what is known as queen for a day. I don't know why they call it that, but everything that you ask for, they give to you, right? It's like, I want immunity, I want relocation, I want witness protection after my release. I want immediate resources to relocate now. All those things are encompassed in the queen for a day status, right? And then later as a 5K1, it's kind of like an MOU, a memorandum of understanding, what your deal is going to be and what you're going to be, your maximum exposure is on sentencing. But he's done all this already. So he's really just blowing smoke to the carnales, letting them think that he's fighting his case when there's really no case pending. The case been filed on, but it's been essentially suspended until the termination of the investigation.
Let's first take him into the jail with the attorney to see if his life will be in danger or not. And if he's reliable. If he's not reliable, the judge will say 1538.5. This shit, get this shit out of here. But if he is reliable, we keeping this motherfucker here. But he's somebody from that.
So how about me? They had 3 months to get the competent performance and we got them. So who don't want to take a stance and they told me this and that. The bullshit in and the judge, and they say, well, we'll bring them in, we'll bring them in. They never brought them all in, they dismissed them. The DA threw in the towel, said, yeah, you know.
Mike, I called looking for you and said that you were sent up to me.
They didn't have enough time and all that shit, you know what I mean?
Mike is a fucking cop.
Yeah, they did you on a Prop 150. Yeah, they can do that. All they do is read the report. So when it comes time to make a motion to have that suppressed.
We did that at municipal court. It was a fair judge and she granted it. She granted, that's how I got action. 6 months, they were all I stood in municipal court. Nobody ever took the stand. None.
You can hear Pee Wee talking about his case and Champ Mendez piping in. Champ Mendez actually works for the courts during this time period. I believe he was a translator for the public defender's office, so he was an officer of the court. That is a righteous officer of the court sitting there in a Mexican Mafia member meeting. You'll see him in the black trench coat sitting directly in front to the right of Chuco Castro. He has his hand on his face. That's Champ Mendez. He was a translator, worked for the public defender's office, so literally was an officer of the court.
That's why I stood around. They did that just to mind you. You know what's good awesome? He brought a double bag. Witness set it down. The DA said it's not necessary. Pull out gun. Just read off what it has. So they turned off loss. The first time, that's what they did. They turned off loss. It's a fucking special unit had it. Now if the guns turn off loss, the court has never seen the things. So they never.
They burn them every year. They say themselves. Yeah,
but these are.
That was Sammy Villalba, now deceased. He was murdered in 2019 in Long Beach, California, who just got up and walked out of the room.
Evidence. You just got to go to trial. If I take it to trial, I ain't gonna take it here.
What happened there?
That's why I got it down. All the collectors are combined in one. It's like one copy. If you get bust with 6 spoons and stuff, they're gonna keep you with 6 ounces.
Yo, you know what? I tell you, I said we did. I do what we're going to do, man.
You know, this something because I have my
Which one are you going to do?
He gets caught up in some shit and then they'll go, let's go take a ride over here, and let's go take a ride over here.
Let me try one more time.
No.
This ain't what we
I ain't never seen Ronnie with each other all this time.
As a matter of fact,
I paid.
We still ain't got no transportation.
yeah,
I put it in my
What, the limo?
What's up, Jack?
That's drivable?
yeah.
Where's it at? We're gonna go get it?
I'm picking her up.
Yeah.
And he said, Mira, Randy has never let him down and he'll be.
Shit, the last time, we were ready to call it a day when they showed up.
That's where it was. Well, you walked over and knocked on the door?
No, hell no. I just, that was
And just so everybody's aware, they're waiting for Randy Therian and Ronald Baez. Ronald Baez just recently passed away in New Mexico. He was living with his mother. Randy Therian has since defected from the organization and is in some type of protective environment within the federal system. They're waiting for them to show up to the meeting. They've been waiting during each of these segments, and it's been mentioned multiple times that they're on their way, they're caught in traffic. And this is before the advent of our popularity of cell phones. I believe at this point that the carnales were still using pagers to communicate with each other and regular landlines.
Hey, did you ever meet that brother from TJ?
No, but I'd like to get a hold. I was down there all last weekend for 2 days.
Popeye's from Hogan.
Yeah, he's from Hogan.
Yeah, I know Popeye.
That's what I was trying to get a hold of Bat and all them dudes down there. I lost Bat's money.
Just an interesting side note, they're talking about the brother from TJ, Popeye from Logan. That's Popeye Barron. He was a prolific eliminator. Let's use that word. He was an eliminator. He worked for the Ariano Felix clan. He actually saved their lives at Christine's nightclub during Chapo Guzman's attempt on them, and became part of their crew. And through his association with Bat Marquez, so did Bat Marquez. We're going to get into that as well. But Popeye is now deceased. They were attempting to eliminate a journalist in Tijuana, I believe it was, and he was hit by friendly fire. He was struck in the eye and expired on the scene. But that's a really prolific brother in Mexico. This is one of the guys that really put the Mexican Mafia on the map during that era, and they just mentioned him now. That would be Popeye Barron, David Barron from Logan Heights, San Diego.
Oh, I stayed in National City at the Holiday Inn right there.
That's what I say too.
Right next to the Ramada Suites.
You can see the beach?
No, not this one.
Not that one?
Oh yeah, you can see the ocean, but not the beach. There was ships.
The ocean,
harbor.
yeah.
The harbor is right there, yeah.
You open your door, the breeze comes in.
Went to Rosarito and Tijuana.
Yeah. I went to Rosarito and Ensenada.
We came back room, I look, I got one off the horse.
I don't know.
Huh? Motherfucker took off running and it put his head down.
Oh, yeah.
Put his head down and fucked up her hip and the neck and shit. Yeah.
You know what? I have photos of that specific instance that Widow Shai's talking about when they went horseback riding in Rosarito. And this is, I believe he went with Bunny. Bunny is also deceased. He recently passed away due to natural causes. But yeah, I find it interesting that when I listen to these and I have photos and I have little articles that are reminiscent of this that correspond with the video. I'm going to try to share these with you here.
This is our not short. We let through.
Guards and everything, they just blow everybody up.
You watch it, Tony?
It's a movie about Attica.
Some hostage shit.
It's about Attica.
They're gonna run in on some motherfuckers.
It's Attica.
Oh, that's what it is. They're gonna start killing motherfuckers now.
Era a movie the other day.
This is Attica, yeah.
That's him. How you answer it? Send? Send. Press send.
No,
Yeah,
top.
I don't know that.
No, top.
Press send.
No, send means you die out.
That's they're on the line.
Because nobody ever calls me, so I don't know.
Is there a number you can call you back on this?
I got a number, yeah. You can call. But I don't know how to do it when somebody calls in because I don't ever have it.
Check out the size of that cell phone and the thickness of it. And it has an antenna. It's an old flip phone.
Just press send.
I don't even. Huh?
Send.
Because I don't remember the
Talk
phone
on
number.
there.
This is one of these sends. Go ahead. Oh, look, do you want the number? You see it read out? You take that toe.
Well, what happened? It rang, somebody called in. It might have been, you know what, that might have been your senora calling right now.
Oh, yeah.
Because I gave her the number for you, I think it, huh?
Oh, that's his number.
469-5200, that's my number.
Hit the read down, hit the tic-tac-toe, and his number will come out.
Go ahead, shoot.
You haven't got your own hook?
No, I threw it in.
What is it? Oh, I have 4-5.
His is
424. 424 number? 85, 34.
What happened to your phone? Yeah.
The clone one right now is off. I got one just like that to get it beat.
Oh yeah. Oh, you had that one though. Yeah, you know what? I wouldn't even walk down the street with that motherfucker in my pocket. There was zero.
You know, it's not worth it.
Not for
Stop and think about it's convenient.
yeah. I love it, man, because I'm driving down the street, somebody beats me. I just pull my beaver out, look at it, and dial the phone on me, pull over, look for it, pay for it. Yeah, that's
The living conditions, how they, it's convenience, locking them up.
I love the antiquated ideology of Shai. Like, he loves his beeper. Somebody beeps him, he stops and calls. And the cell phones, they seem to have having a little difficulty with them. I remember during this period that my attorney, William McKinney, was representing me. He was representing me on my cases that I was committed for, the homicides. And he opened his briefcase and he had a big gray brick. And it's the first time in my life I'd ever seen a cell phone. And I asked him, I said, "What's that?" He said, "It's a cell phone." And this thing was ginormous. I mean, it was huge. It was like this big, and it was like a walkie-talkie. You ever see the old World War II walkie-talkies? It looked kind of like that, but it was gray. And here they are with these flip phones, trying to figure out how to call back. And I think it's just reminiscent of some of their long periods of incarceration. They're not familiar with technology. They're trying to incorporate it now. Definitely not the mob of today. This is the mob of yesteryear.
Police brutality.
What is it? 818?
469.
They can transfer.
469.
I know one thing. All kinds of shit happens because they start shooting. They shoot cops. They shoot. There's a bunch of lawsuits. They made sad people made money out of it because they were supposed to do that.
You know, get the other one hooked up.
So we're going to cut out right here. They're trying to get a hold of Randy Therian and Ronald Baez, who are on the way. They're attempting to dial a number. It's a little mundane. We'll pick right back up in our next episode of Mexican Mafia Motel Madness. With that said, folks, we're going to break this video down in its entirety, and we're going to finish this specific recording up probably in our next session, our 2 sessions, because there's still quite a bit to go. If you want to see these videos in their entirety, unedited, without my commentary, just to see if you can figure out what's going on your own. I mean, you want to become a junior analyst or try to analyze these, you know, on a thumbnail, then and I mean thumbnail, the terminology, not a thumbnail for your videos. If you want to view these unedited and without commentary, go to my Patreon, Enriquez Uncensored, and you can see videos and listen to audio, uncut, unedited, without commentary. They're all there, folks. With that said, we're going to say peace out to you. Be sure to like, subscribe, share with a friend, leave a comment, join our membership program. We got a membership program now with a bunch of different tiers and a bunch of different perks, including signed photos. Our highest tier of membership includes a 15-minute call. So we invite you to investigate those. If you recall, in the last segment, towards the end, they were talking about the cell phone and how to work it, and it's almost comical to see them trying to work the analog cell phones, right? This is back in the day when they first came out, right? And they're trying to work it. And it was mundane. It was mundane mob talk. You know, it's kind of boring to listen to this stuff, but if you listen to some of the peripheral conversation, we'll maybe pick up on some intel that we can comment on. I'm going to run that video now. I hope you're enjoying this series. We're gonna watch the video right now.
You got Rick?
I only charge it about an hour in the morning.
I know it, I charge it quick.
When I get up, while I'm washing up and getting ready to go to work out.
They got devices where they can
You know where you're talking to it?
I got a better charger.
I do. Is it a supercharger or one of the overnights?
I don't know. You have to look at it.
I got an overnight. That motherfucker takes fucking off. Then that fucking only lasts about 4 hours.
take the chance right now.
Got one right there.
Basically, not
When somebody calls in,
Right there, you know, it's like a box.
Yep, I didn't got enough.
Just get a box. And then you plug it in.
Yeah.
That shit hits you down.
That is Sammy Negro Villalba that went and sat on the bed right now and flicked his ashes into the trash can.
Yeah. Did you put 2? Did you put 2 batteries in that thing? Like, you put the phone in there?
You know, I don't fuck with
I got a supercharger. It takes like 6-7 hours to charge it.
Go home.
Especially driving
Is that it, you black?
Yeah. You got a patty too.
But they should be able to know.
Oh yeah, they should be able to.
Okay, watch out.
I'm driving.
That's right.
Yeah, I know how to drive.
Yeah, alright. He didn't know how to drive. Last time he was out with crash.
Somebody's driveway in a tree.
That's why we drive down the damn store, because you got a flat tire. But I didn't know how to drive that motherfucker. Came back talking about I got a flat tire. So let's try to get a car. Remember that car we got?
Just to see
Oh, I heard about that. Yeah, that's what you told me about.
Fucking ended up driving all the fucking stores. Then we ended up in fucking Winter Park driving.
I wonder about that tire place.
We'll teach.
Fill them up.
Yeah. Well, Scooby went into it.
We did, bro.
And I just breaks the dudes.
Sometimes he won't even answer it. A lot of people, I used to see them all the time.
What are you gonna be 10? 9:30?
Okay, check it out. We're gonna take this last issue home. It's not gonna call it down. I think the other 2 brothers are gonna go. This issue is concerned.
So we're just hearing a lot of side talk, right? But right now, Chuco says they're going to discuss the last issue and then take off. So let's get into this issue.
Turning the 2 brothers right here. China Boy and Sammy. What is it that the barrios that you guys could work out?
You know what? We talked something out, but I seen it went further than but it had to go. We talked again. I figured it was squashed.
That's why we're here, brother.
I know. Okay. I don't know. Is it over?
Yeah.
Alright.
See,
No, we want it discussed that what you got, you satisfied on. Because we're in a blind, and you brothers that don't know what's happening, we're all brothers, and this is why we call meetings for, brother.
Here's an important point. Chuco Castro is an active FBI informant. The issue is dead. They said they settled it, and that's typically how it's done in the organization. Like, it's done, bro. We settled it among ourselves. No need to bring it to a meeting. And it's done. It's not brought up again. Neither of them can bring it up again, right? It's a quashed issue. Quashed, not squashed. Quash with a Q. It's a quashed issue, right? But Chuco, being an active FBI informant, wants the details of what occurred because there's a conflict between China boy Arias and Sammy Villalba, Negro, right? Where guns were pulled out. I even heard that they exchanged some rounds, some of the crew members, because China boy was attempting to control Artisia in its entirety, particularly Chivas, right? And homeboys had a lot of problems with China boy and his then wife, Nilsa. They used to call her the wall because it was like running into a wall when you dealt with her, right? China boy was a great businessman. He controlled his territory, as he should have. He was protecting it, right? But this led to a conflict between the two homeboys. These are Mexican Mafia members who share the same territory and each had a right to function in that area, but it wasn't working out. And this is what this meeting is about. Part of it, right? Because we heard a lot of issues. This is the one where the segment where China boy and Negro hash it out.
Good. What's up? First of all, I didn't know where was going on. Apparently these kids owed Smilon some feria, and I wasn't aware of it. You know what I mean? And I wasn't told about it until later on. You know what I mean? And I asked him, I go, why didn't you tell me before so I could help you, pay it out? He said, well, we didn't know how you were gonna take it. So I said, well, you should have told me, that way I could help you. And so I told him, okay, what do they owe you? And I still don't know what he owes. But see, the guy that did the tranza, he got some feria and he booked to Arizona. He booked to Arizona and he left the other vatos with the bag without even saying nothing. And then they told me that Sleepy had told Smilon, okay, Sleepy had said, they're not gonna pay you no more, they're gonna pay me, which was Sleepy.
Did you say the last meeting that?
So let's unpack that for a second, right? This is one of the issues that came up, that China boy, because China boy was close with Pee Wee Aguirre and Smilon Gallardo, right? Very close with them. China boy was allowing Smilon to deal drugs in Artesia. That's exactly what's going on here, which is a no-no. It's a no-no. Letting other brothers come in to deal dope in a neighborhood controlled by multiple members from Artesia, right? This is what caused the conflict. Somebody disappeared with the debt. And then he mentioned Sleepy. That's Jesse Aragon, right? Jesse Aragon, Sleepy from Artesia. He was made in Folsom in the 80s, right? And he was pretty much like a bum. He didn't do anything for the organization. He collected money for his dope habit. And eventually they attempted to eliminate him a couple times. This is apparently at a time where he's still functioning, but I know the decision had been made to eliminate him at some point. I remember talking about this with Wedo Shai and Negro personally, because he failed to do some things he was supposed to do, right? Particularly eliminate individuals. He just wouldn't do it. In fact, Sleepy Aragon, Jesse, the person they're talking about, Sleepy, was supposed to go on my commitment defense with David Gallegos, the Mexican Mafia member that I was convicted of eliminating. He begged off of that, like, I can't go, or in fact, he lost one of the weapons. So that was a huge strike against him. And I voiced that, and What Shai voiced it, Sammy voiced it. We had already voiced our opposition to this guy remaining in the fold. So this is the guy they're talking about now, Sleepy.
His old lady still has people out there collecting?
Yeah. You know, collecting from little vatos that we don't know who they are. You know what I mean? They're sleepy and got. And we don't know who they are or what until we run into them. Okay? But that's what I'm trying to find out now. What does he owe to get this vato out of that predicament? Because he was torcido también, and then he got taxed for it. You know what I mean? Which he didn't have nothing to do with it. What I'm trying to find out, if the vatos owe for disrespect, let me know, and I'll make sure that whatever has got to be paid, it's got to be paid.
Whose vatos are we talking about?
Who is it? It's what's his name?
Vatos from Cantarranas?
No. No, it's Chivas. That's all. That's all. It was what's his name? Jerry's name. Sniper. And who else?
Didn't we deal with these people before?
Yeah, you know, that's what I'm saying. That's what I was running down to them earlier. That originally, all the brothers were there way back when.
Yeah,
when they were coming in, remember?
Yeah.
The half of one side every week.
Yeah,
okay, they disrespected the brother.
Okay.
That's Pee Wee Aguirre talking to the left of the camera with a high-toned voice, talking about they used to come in with a half ounce a week.
We told him, and we asked him, "Are you doing anything for any brother?" And they never said, they never spoke.
Okay,
a word.
let
We ain't doing nothing.
me explain that part right there.
Half ounce a week.
Okay, that part was true, but they had Tokro was supposed to be doing that, and Tokro got torcido también, and what he did, he dropped it on Jerry, and then.
So you know, Tucker was my crew boss in Artisia. That's, I believe, Jesus Alvarado. He was married to Cynthia, and Cynthia used to come visit me. Tucker was the guy that ran all my stuff in the hood, right? And obviously, here's to prove a point. To prove a point, right? To all the people who always say, "What about all the guys that got whacked because when you dropped out, they killed all your crew? Are they whacked all your crew?" That's not true. That doesn't happen. That they get absorbed, right? No reasonable businessman is going to throw assets away, right? So for all those people who think that, oh, when I dropped out, 1,000 people got hit, all my crew members got abandoned, they moved on to different crews. Toker, my main crew guy, right here, mentioned in this, he got moved into Negro's crew or Shai's crew. One of these guys took him in the crew. They're mentioning him right here. This is the guy I know personally. I've dealt with for years, and he got busted. I remember he got busted, and his wife took over and started visiting me, right? And this is what they're talking about here.
Jerry, Sleepy went to Jerry and told Jerry, "You don't owe Smilo nothing. You give it to me." And see, and that's what the kids are saying. Hey, well, Sleepy said we give it to him, and I told him, "No, you're not giving Sleepy nothing." You know, and then, but then that's the way. That's the last that I heard of it, because that's like Johnny Boy. So I told Johnny Boy, "Why didn't you come and tell me if they owed? Why didn't you tell me that way I could help it out?" You know what I mean? And he said, "Well," he goes, "Well, I didn't. You know, you're not involved in that. So, but I am involved because they're working for me. See what I'm saying? Them chavalones were working for me. I go, if I would have known sooner, then yo le podría apartar algo para este canal."
So it was lack of communication.
Yeah. And so he goes, so the other day we talked, and I told him, okay, so what does he owe? And up to this day, I don't know what he owes. Well, somebody knows what he owes, and find out if Sleepy did tell him, okay, you know, for the time, did he cut him loose? Did he turn him over to Sleepy, or what? See, that's what I'm trying to find out. That's why I told China Boy, you tell us my
Well, I know for like, I know it's the same people, like for instance, it's the same people that we spoke with way back when. We never told them to give it. They was giving the stuff to us.
Okay, okay, he was, but that guy's not here no more. He's not here no more.
No, he was already out of the.
Here's the thing, right? Another thing that I see in this glaring violation of territorial boundaries, right? That Pee Wee's saying the guys we were dealing with who were giving it to us. What is Pee Wee doing in Artesia? What is Smilon doing in Artesia? This is the thing with China Boy and his inability to carve out his own territory. He let in all these other brothers that made him, right? Let them come deal in Artesia, which is not cool. This is a bad flaw on his part. This is a huge blunder. Because this created conflict with us, right? Myself and Daryl Baca had to push back when China Boy's wife attempted to tell us the same thing. No, the other brothers are working this area. You're not welcome here, and you can't deal here, right? We pushed back, and we says, you know what? We don't want to hear that. This is our neighborhood. No woman is going to tell us what to do, and nobody's ever going to exclude us from doing business in the hood. In fact, myself and Daryl Baca ended up taking over Chivas as a result of this stuff right here. And I recall this intimately, that we contacted Chuco, we contacted Widow Shai, we contacted Black Dan, we contacted Topo Peters when we went down in 1995 for the trial, and specifically stated this, that we are functioning in that neighborhood and we don't need the permission of any woman, and no carnal is going to exclude us from doing business.
Well, he was never in the toker was already busted.
I know. You're talking about Jerry. Was a sniper. Was it sniper?
Yeah. Yeah, sniper was
sniper.
youngster.
That's Jerry.
Youngster.
Yeah. He split to Arizona. He got the whatever he had in his pockets and he jammed to Arizona. So see, that's where the mix-up is right there.
You know what we did is we didn't actually follow it up. We did like you. We have a lot of territory, you know. We were depending on their loyalty to us, you know, to come in. And then they 1 week skip and come in. 2 weeks skip, come in.
We didn't sweat them.
Skip, and then shoom, they were out.
Okay.
But we didn't sweat them.
Okay, then how long
they went out They went out of the picture.
Okay, and then are they clear or
It'd be a good thing to have them do something for the blood now, because
okay, what do you want? What do you need? Tell me. Somebody say something. What do you want from them?
Buy the rack of guns first.
What you talking about?
Wait a minute, hold on a minute. Okay, I thought we were here to discuss these guys' problem right
That's
now.
what we're doing.
You know, okay, now, this other thing, you're talking about taxing this one neighborhood.
No, it's not neighborhoods.
Individuals. A few vatos. Individuals.
Not neighborhoods.
Okay, well, this is the same thing with me, that's the way I see it. But, okay, whatever little business you guys have with them, I know that, I don't know nothing about that. But I mean,
we're off the subject.
Shai's weighing in, the elder statesman. He does not like what's going down because Pee Wee and Smilon are now taxing Artesia, right? And that is what Shai and Negro's just trying to resolve. It says, tell me what they owe. And nobody will say what they owe because they don't owe. The individual that owed them took off, right? And Sleepy, the opportunist, the Mexican Mafia member on the outs, is telling those individuals, hey, just pay me, don't pay them. This is an internal issue. What they needed to do was eliminate Sleepy from the equation, and Shai and Negro needed to tell Pee Wee and Smilon, stay out of Artesia. China Boy doesn't have the right to let you guys come in there. We oppose it, and that's it. That's all. When we left off, they were discussing the Chivas conflict, right? That homeboy Jerry from Chivas owed Smilon money, and they can't define what it is, right? But you hear Pee Wee in the background piping in. Well, they got to do something for homeboy, which is Smilon, to make this right. And Shai just jumped in as the elder statesman. He said, well, you're talking about taxing the hood, right? And I think Shai's going to have some opposition to this. We'll see how it plays out. Let's run that video now.
No. Yeah, that's that. But not only that, you're talking about now and telling them, okay, you got to get this up. You know, the whole thing ended. They're working for Negro. You know, now, okay, Smilon got some money coming that he should get it, but they owe him money. Or any other help we could be of assistance. Not only him, a lot of other carnales that got to come. But they're working for Negro, you know. So he's making money off of them too. They're dealing his stuff, you know. Carlos got another group dealing for him, you know. Well, that's both of their neighborhoods. It's my neighborhood, but I'm not working there. They are, you know. So they need to work out a little thing where, okay, you work one day, you work the next day, you know, or something like that, you know. And you know, that was just an example. And work out some kind of method where you guys can work out.
I already told him if he wants to, he can have it.
Let me say something. First of all, we already had our little problem. I thought we solved this.
That's what I thought. I don't know how you got this
guy. Yeah, well, that's
into
what. See, I went down there.
See, wait a minute. This is what I'm trying to say. We have resolved it. I don't know how it got into your people.
Well, somebody said that you sent somebody to kill.
No. I never sent nobody because we resolved it. There was a discussion.
Where did you hear that from?
Smilon.
Okay, look.
Where does Smilon hear
never
it from?
seen anybody.
Okay, no. It was nothing like that.
Okay, well, wait a minute. Let's get off the subject and get back to being him.
Yeah.
Okay, look. Me and him and Perico, we solved it. Okay, it's solved. I already told him what he want to work, where does he want to work. As long as he don't step on my feet and I won't step on his feet.
Well, see, that was a serious offense you were accused of, though. Yeah. Talking about you were trying to send somebody to kill this guy.
No, I never said.
No, that's an automatic death sentence from you. That's why I want to know who said it and where they get their information from.
Shy is real serious about this right here. He's number one defining, hey, this is our hood, right? And these people work for Negro, so you can't tax them, right? He's earning money from them, and Negro is saying, we resolved this, and Perico, with Perico's intervention as well, him, China Boy, and Negro have resolved this issue. Somebody's politicking behind the scenes. It's probably Smilon. I don't know for a fact, but they're allowing, China Boy is allowing them to interject themselves in Artisia politics, right? And this was the whole problem that we had. We had opposition. And you're seeing Negro say it straight out, like, hey, it's okay as long as he doesn't step on my dick and I don't step on his dick, then we're fine, right? He can have Chivas. And that's maybe where he believed that he was entitled to control Chivas in its entirety and stop us from working there. This is a very interesting segment of the video. Shy's weighing in and says straight out, what they're accusing you of is a capital offense, automatic elimination sentence, right? And it is to do something like that, to send somebody after a made guy without sanction. Back in the day, it was a capital offense. I'm going to run the video now.
Okay. Because I happen to know that what happened with that shit right there, and Carlos knows who did it too. You know, don't you? Yeah. You know exactly who shot at you and why. You know, so I don't know how it came out that the Negro sent somebody to try.
Okay, wait a minute. Before any further, watch out. Listen to it. Me, Perico, and him sat down a few weeks ago, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and we sat down and we discussed it because there's other incidents.
We were clashing.
Yeah, we were clashing. All three of us were. Okay, well, what I'm trying to say is, we, among ourselves, took the time to sit down and resolve it.
That's good. That's what it should.
Okay, we did that already. We did all that.
So how did blow out of proportion and it comes to
I said I went down there and talked to him. Everything was resolved.
Okay, look.
Is everybody content? I mean,
yeah.
What they discussed. That
I am.
Okay, well, I'm gonna. Okay, watch.
That's my neighborhood also, and I went down there because I'm gonna work with these brothers right here, not only on a carnal basis, but on a homeboy basis and a camarada basis. I've known this boy right here since he was a kid, man. Since he was a baby, you know, and I'm gonna, but that don't mean I'm gonna show favoritism here. I like Carlos también, that's my homeboy también, and he's a carnal, and Perico's from the area también, see, so that's why when he called me, I went down there, didn't I? And I got you,
that's right.
And we went down there, and they had already worked it out.
We already worked it out.
Now, if it wouldn't have been,
that's what I told you, and I told you.
I mean, they're son hombres, you know, they. You know
yeah, that's what I didn't want it. That's why I told. That's what we had the meeting. So we said we would have to bring you carnales into this. Sit down.
My concern was that I was told that this brother has sent somebody to kill this brother, and I couldn't see that happening, and I wanted to know where it came from, because Tonito's the one that called me and told me.
Who's the one who said this?
Where'd you get that from, Tonito?
Smilon. You got your feelings about Smilon, I got mine. You know?
Okay, look, before it goes
wait a
any
minute,
further.
let me say something. Let me say something, man. Because that was a hell of an accusation that brother accused him of. Because that's an automatic death sentence. To send somebody to kill another carnal. Since then, I talked to Smilon. Me and Smilon got in an argument. Because Smilon was trying to say things that aren't true. And I know they're not true. And I was trying to explain to him, but see, Smilon is in there, he's stressed out behind that cage, man. And just being there, and you know, he's stressed out, man. And he's accusing people of things, and he's thinking things that aren't happening. And I tried to explain it to him. So as soon as I hung up the phone, I went straight down to his house, you know, and I started investigating, and we went looking for him. But when I got there, they had already straightened it out. You know, that's why when you called me today about the junta concerning this, I said, well, I went down
Well,
there.
you figure they had to come from somewhere, then we're gonna investigate this and find out who did that.
Yeah, see, I want to know who's
I bet you, that's probably an outside.
Okay, let me say something.
Started shit with
Wait, let me say something. Did somebody go to your house once? Somebody go to your house?
¿El cohete?
No.
What? Huh? Nobody went to your house? With cohetes or anything? Huh?
No.
Did somebody approach you at any time with any cohetes?
There was a time where a cohete was brought out, but that was...
What do you mean brought
That's
out?
where that situation came into effect.
Well,
No, this happened when the homeboys from one side of my neighborhood shot at them.
He got off from them.
2 days after that happened, see, the same day that he called me, my homeboy Papas called me and told me that they went to a party down in the bottom.
Shooting down the street,
and
that's going to be handled.
And the China boy shot at them, so they shot.
So, the plot thickens. The homeboy Papas is the grandson of the founder of the Mexican Mafia, Huero Flores, right? And very active in the gang violence there in the area. And this is an incident that Smilon is trying to make into Negro attempting to eliminate China Boy, right? When it was actually China Boy who initiated this violence against Papas. There's two sides, like that's the Devlin area, right? That Papas is from. They actually live on Horst Street, Horst, right? And that's part of Devlin boys, right? Part of a neighborhood in Artisia, and China boys from Chivas, right? It's another part of the neighborhood. And then there's the 90s, and there's Lakewood, and there's all that, right? It's a huge area, right? But they're in conflict with each other, right? So Shai is attempting to discern who originated with the rumor that Negro sent somebody down there. And that's Smilon's get down. He's a politicker. He's obviously takes liberties with the fabric of truth, right? And makes up his own narrative. And they're discerning that right now. But you also hear Pee Wee in the background backing up Smilon at every turn. That's his business partner, and that's his road dog. And it's admirable, but it's wrong.
You know, the same day.
Did they know it was you?
No, I don't know if it was you. I don't know if it was him, but I want to. See, this is what happened.
Could it have been a misunderstanding?
Yeah. That's what it was.
Misunderstanding.
I think that's what it was.
No, I'm trying to find out where it came from.
We know who it is. We're gonna handle it.
That he tried to send somebody.
See what it was? Is this fucking punk?
Who told Smilon this?
The one that tried to put a contract on him in the first place, because he wasn't a carnal, would try to get him again. And his camarada, which was Papas, what's his name? Termite or Cricket, what's his name? The one that remember when Grumpy came to us and he was gonna kill him. That was the same people. That was the same people.
Yeah, them battles have to be dealt with. Yeah, but that's something that's been happening too. This is something, when he got out there, you remember one time in Junta they were talking about them battles, the little clique from my neighbor was talking about killing him. And they were getting the
they're still at it. They're still at it.
They were getting the battles together to go deal with him. This was months ago.
See, but they don't come out, huh? They don't.
So
They don't come out.
This is just an issue that's been ongoing.
Yeah.
But
See,
it
they
had
don't
nothing
come out.
to do with the conflict.
I don't know.
It didn't have nothing to do with the conflict.
I didn't know faces to that puzzle right there.
See, when we try.
The incident I do know, because like you said, it was brought up. But the
Everybody around
faces
there
to the
knows that the China
puzzles.
boys are carnal, you know?
Yeah, but see, wait a minute. That's just it. Until I got out, they said no, he wasn't a carnal. They said, you know what, they were saying, fuck him. And I said, no, he is a carnal.
These people are related.
And that's when they came, and they told, remember I told you when they said that, they called the huras on me and this. That's when everything, and then they found out he was a carnal. Then that's when they started back, and then these two dudes started running, and now we can't catch them, because they won't come around. And then that day, when they were shooting.
So, the plot thickens even more, right? Now, there's a group of homeboys in Artisia that want to eliminate China Boy because they don't believe he's a carnal. He is a carnal. He was a carnal. As we all know, he was eliminated by a celly, Psycho Calderon from Pasadena, up in the feds. Negro's on the hot seat, right? They just accused him of a capital offense of sending somebody to eliminate China Boy, who is a Mexican Mafia member from Chivas. Chivas is a clique within Artesia, right? This was before Chivas was independent and part of the hood. So some of the people rebelling against Chivas, they're speaking about right now. Shai specifically is talking about Güero Buff's family, right? That's the Flores Borgueño family, right? And there's a group of individuals there, Little Papas, Eddie Knuckles. All those individuals have always had this arrogance about them because their father and their grandfather, Güero Buff, is the founder of the organization, right? So they've had this sense of royalty, if you will. I don't know what else to call it. But they've always flaunted that. As I mentioned in a previous video, they would often go to Hawaiian Gardens and violate the drive-by rule. And then when Hawaiian Gardens came back to retaliate, they would squeal on them and go to the carnales and say, look, they came by and they did a drive-by on us. We want to put on the green light list. So Hawaiian Gardens got really dogged out during this whole thing, this whole campaign, this green lighting and stopping of the drive-bys. And it was the Borgueño Flores family, Papas, Little Papas, that instigated this, right? Ultimately, Hawaiian Gardens retaliated and eliminated Little Papas, which is unfortunate. My condolences to the family, which I'll express again. But here, Smilon and Pee-wee have been allowed to place product into Chivas, right? China Boy, because China Boy is close with Pee-wee and Smilon being China Boy's padrino, allowed outside Mexican Mafia members from another territory to distribute product in Chivas, which is a huge violation, right? So it's come to light that individuals from Artesia owe Smilon money. And Smilon is the one saying that Negro sent somebody to eliminate China Boy, which isn't true, and they're getting to the bottom of it now. With that said, we're going to run the video. We're going to listen to the rest of the drama in this case.
When this vato came out, he started blasting back at him. And then they called me, and I went to Chivas to find out who in the fuck it was. But everything was already gone and through.
And I took that misconception.
But he did right, because they were trying to shoot. Which if it was in the air, or at him, or we don't know.
The ones that got out of line was going too. He was living out there on
See,
the
but no, that's not Chivas. That's what I keep explaining to you. That's not Chivas that disrespect this fellow.
That's Artisia.
That's Artisia.
Chivas, Artisia, and Artisia.
Yeah.
See, that's what I keep saying. Them are the ones that did it.
And the ones that are running that bullshit is Papas and Knuckles in there. And that's what it was.
Papas.
Didn't Knuckles get out of line? That name sounds familiar.
I don't know.
Papa.
Isn't his name Charlie, really? Knuckles?
Papa.
That's Artesia across his upper
In
tongue.
fact, I've only met him one time. I don't know none of them. I only met Papas
You said
twice.
somebody else.
But I know they're Güero Buff.
Let me stop this right here because it just came out that Knuckles is the one instigating all this, right? Let me tell you a little story about Knuckles. I know Knuckles. I met him on the streets when I was out in 1988. I met him at a bar or nightclub kind of thing in La Mirada. And he was talking some high power stuff, like I want to work with you guys, and I want to go on highlights with you. And I figured, sure, he'd be a natural fit. This is the Carnal Buff's son, and I'll take him on a mission. So we set up a thing to do, we call it kicking in doors, right? We go to the connections houses, we kick in the doors, we take their product, and we tell them we want them to pay. So it's me, 2 other carnales and him, right? So on the morning of, I'm supposed to pick him up at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 1 o'clock, sometime we said, right? I go down there, I have firearms, and I go knock on the door at the designated date and time. And his mother answers the door. Lupe answers the door, his mother, I know his mother. And I says, hey, I'd like to talk to Eddie. And she says, yeah, let me get him. And I go in the car and I wait for maybe 10, 15 minutes, right? He comes out, he's got lagañas, sleep in his eyes. He's just, you can tell he just woke up, right? He's in pajamas, and he comes out, and I get out of the car, I say, hey, what's up, dude? We're ready to roll. I mean, it's time. It's 0 hour right now. And he looks down at the ground, he says, I'm not gonna go. And I says, what do you mean you're not gonna go? He says, yeah, my mom said I can't go. And I looked at him like, with complete disgust. Like, are you kidding me, bro? Your mom's not gonna let you go? And he says, yeah, I can't go, man. And I admonished him right there. I told him, you know that you gave me your word, and that we're counting on you, and that now we're 1 man short. And this is a huge breach, right? You can't give your palabra to a carnal and then not follow through. That's like a sure way to end your career right there. And he did that, right? So I knew he was cock, I knew he was, he didn't have spine. I knew he wasn't the gangster he portrayed to be, that he wanted everybody to think. So I'm hearing this now, that he's instigating, because he's always portrayed that tough guy role, right? And I know differently, right? I know differently. And I just wanted to throw that in there so you have some kind of perspective about Eddie Knuckles.
Son, see that whole family, man, Fat Flo,
that's another time. Yeah, that's another time. But the first time when he texted him, that's the one.
I mean, yeah, Lupe and Jay and Bosco and family and cousins and everything. And she's sleeping married into that family.
And the ones that were shooting that night, they gotta go too.
The ones that
Bub, he's one of the carnales that started the RICO. He's one of the main ones that started the Mafia Mexicana. All the rules that we live by today, he's the one that started it. But he led his family to believe that they're beyond reproach. In other words, you can go where you want, do what you want, say what you want, and nobody can touch you. And a lot of the carnales like Crow from Hazard and Big D and most of the carnales that ain't even around, Bogus Pete and AB, and all them carnales, well, all them brothers grew up together. And they were real close. So they, to this day,
I want to get Ben.
One of them vatos showed me a letter from AB.
I want to get Ben.
No, not from maybe from Rocco and Lou. Well, Rocco and Lou told me to do what I got to do.
Rocco and Lou's from that area, I know that.
Rocco and Lou's from Mundane.
Rocco and Lou, I was right there with Rocco and Lou. He told me that.
So Shai gave you a good idea of what Buff's family think of themselves, right? They've always had this, the we're beyond reproach attitude, and it's still to this day. They might have been humbled since that point, but this has always been the mentality they've had, that they are relatives of the founder, that they are neighborhood royalty, and that's how they carry themselves.
Me and Rocco and Lou go back a long way. But see, I told, he's taking it that Rocco and Lou said, don't let nobody disrespect you, do what you gotta do. And I said, no, he don't mean the carnales. He's not talking about carnales. And so I straightened him out on that, But he was thinking that Rocco and Lou was, in other words, they were going to kill Negro. they wanted to kill Negro
Then they said, well,
because they thought that Negro disrespected him and that Rocco and Lou was sanctioning it. And I said, no, Rocco and Lou don't mean that. I know Rocco and Lou. And
was that recently?
The FedEx are coming in and all that.
A couple weeks ago.
They thought you
Yeah, tell them, you know, if anybody disrespects you, get off on them.
Yeah. That's what, see,
That's dangerous there.
but he interpreted it the wrong way. I know Rocco and Lou didn't mean that. But see, I know that family. I grew up with, and I know how they think. You know, so I sat the heifer down. I sat the youngsters down. I said, look, man, you're going to respect Sammy. I said, you're going to do what you're told. You're not going to step on his toes. And I said, if you do, I'll be the first one to come down here and do something. I said, but as a homeboy, I'm here as a homeboy, and I'm trying to get you people to understand something. You do not run nothing. You know? So those are the ones that are causing all this problem. Those are the ones that shot at China Boy. And not in him personally, but it's a body thing. Chivas and Artisia. Chivas, Artisia, and Artisia. So, it is for like clica.
You were cool for a grand.
So, one's on one side and one's on the other side. That's
5 from you, 2 from you.
She want the me and Negros and Artisia.
Oh, I know, but you know, I mean
Chivas, Artisia.
Wrong choice of words. But what I'm saying is I'm
Doesn't that guy Gibby just come out like a little weasel, annoying little voice with a stupid little beanie? My God, I wish he'd shut up.
But what I was trying to do, see, I didn't even want to get involved, man. I told these brothers to handle it, but it wasn't working out. So my homeboys got a lot of respect for me.
Oh no, we got it. We got it.
So I went down,
yeah, we got that. That's there. That's there. That's there.
Okay, the session at hand has been handled, so let's call it a night.
Okay.
We get.
Okay. As soon as possible, Mike. Hey, why don't we set it deeper than next week already?
You know, all the times I wanted to
last Sunday this month? We're at January.
What do you want? You said.
Last time we fucking ended in San Diego meeting here, man.
You wanna go to my house? I don't care. You go to your house, my house.
It's Sammy's. Sammy.
I got it.
It's kind of hot, so let's get a move.
Alright, let's get a move.
Yeah.
Just let me know ahead of time. Yeah, because I'll tell you.
When's the next one, Doc?
Oh, that's so much senior.
To be determined?
You don't like to,
alright, yeah.
You want to pull them up tomorrow?
See,
no more than 200. Work 175, no more than 2.
You can argue by yourself?
Something with property.
That's somebody blaming you.
Oh yeah, he's a brother. Chauffeur. About 22. I don't know what. Hey, what that older than possible. Like the ones that I got from you on consignment, okay, that's $500. Okay, the damage of carga that you're giving, we're gonna have to sit down and figure out how much I owe you.
Okay.
I'll make sure you get out. You want further?
Yeah, I'll get that. I'll call you like that.
What's in here with you?
I owe him.
Hey, check it out, everybody. Look at I'm tapped. I got a motel. I need to pay. Can you guys throw a little pitch in here? You guys got any money?
Are you kidding me? Stop the presses. Do you hear Gibby begging for money? I'm tapped out. I got a hotel. Can we pitch in and give me some money? This is like low ball, non-mob behavior from this guy. He wanted to steal the radio. He wanted to steal the clock. He wanted to steal the TV. He stole the pen because all he could steal. And now he's begging for money. Let's hear him out.
Bro, I'll give you some break. I'm serious. I gotta never call me back.
Come on. All I got is hundreds.
That'll work. Hey, matter of fact, we're both living in that room. That's why I wanted to stay here. I appreciate it. Yeah, us three. Yeah. Okay, then we'll do it that way. I'm humble. That's I appreciate it. Thank Umbrella? Look around. That's it. That check room.
Well, let me see what I can steal.
No.
I'm just kidding. Wait up, somebody's... Alright.
So, don't you dare take that TV.
I'm just kidding, Jude.
Check the closet.
I was the one that had anything in there, Jude.
So concludes the meeting with Gibby voicing a last-minute desire to steal something, right? Let me see what I can steal. But that's who he was, right? A lot of commenters and viewers have said, how did this guy get made? You know, and who is he? And like no class, right? And that's him. You know, I'm shocked that he got made. I don't even know who made him. Maybe it was Perico that sponsored him. I don't know. But a lot of that last segment revolved around Widow Bus family and the attitudes they've always had. And Widow Shai had a meeting with the mother and the family and let them know they didn't run anything. And that was the way it was, because I had my run-ins with them as well. That's going to be another episode. I'll tell you about my whole run-in with Flo and the whole family, right? So with that said, this is going to close off this hotel series, right? The secret hotel meeting series. But we have others. We're going to let them sit in the hopper for a minute. We'll start putting them together for you. Hope you enjoyed it. This video is historic. And for all you guys who are purists and want to see the unedited version, the editor's going to put up every segment in this video series on Patreon. So you can look for those there. We have other stuff coming out. For all of you viewers, please be sure to write a comment, hit the notification bell, subscribe, share the video with a friend, and hit that hype button. As always, peace out, folks.
This is Enriquez. Nickname Boots.